Rocky predicted. Rocky predicted.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tinfoil Spotlight. How's everyone doing? Hope you're having a good Friday, ready for the weekend, and also, it is indeed Pissmas Eve. Tomorrow we are doing our 8-hour yearly Pissmas stream. I got done getting all the videos for it earlier today. I collected documentaries and videos, and holy shit, I'm having a good hair day. Look at that. Good shit. Sorry, got distracted. Anyway, very exciting, so make sure you tune in tomorrow for Pissmas. Should be disgustingly fun. Let's see what's going on in chat. Sorry, I accidentally turned that up. I'll turn that off. German Cow JJ with a 30-stream streak says, Das Moo! Lilac Rosenberg says, absolute peak. Without a Rocky, we wouldn't have Femboy 911. I assume he has something to do with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure based on the hashtags.
Rocky predicted 9/11. In one panel, a prophet stand wearing a shirt that appears to read 9/11 is impaled on a telephone pole from a great height. Below him, an evil-looking plane passes by. In another panel, the same character wearing a shirt that clearly reads 9/11 checks his watch, and the time is 10:30. Over 10 years later, the second tower fell at 10:28.
What the fuck?
Rocky predicted 9/11.
Well, that's something. Anyway, so today we're going to be looking at a variety of Flat Earth mini documentaries, YouTube videos. They're all from the channel ODD TV, which is a Flat Earth channel that's been around for like a decade at this point. They're one of the OG Flat Earth channels from this wave of Flat Earth that started back in like 2015, 2016 or so. So yeah, we're going to watch some of their quote-unquote documentaries, hang out, have a good time. Should be fun. I don't think we're going to do bingo today, just because it's all Flat Earth, so I don't think we'll do it. We can do it for fun if you guys want. I just don't know how many spaces are going to get filled up. But anyway, is there anything else? I feel like there's something I'm forgetting. I don't know what. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor and like the stream. Hit the thumbs up. It'll only take a second. Like I said, we're doing Pissmas tomorrow. I think that's about it. For some reason, my brain's telling me I'm missing something, but I don't think I am. So let's just jump into it, shall we, with the Flat Earth. This first quote-unquote documentary is called Epic Deception. So let's check this out. Oh, yeah, the Houston Wade thing. That's something I wanted to talk about, because I saw it in the comments mentioned. Houston Wade, who's a meme stock guy I've covered briefly. Let me pull him up real quick so you know who I'm talking about. It's this guy.
Book from 19.
I've covered this guy very briefly on meme stock streams. He got arrested last night for some truly heinous crimes against children. So I don't know, if you're interested in the meme stock streams, just be aware, Houston Wade has been arrested for heinous crimes against children under 12 years old, according to the indictment. Yikes. Anyway, enough of that. We'll talk about that on the next meme stock stream, probably, when there's more information. But, back to Flat Earth.
Siri, is the Earth a ball? A ball? Heavens no. How could you live on a ball? That doesn't seem possible. The Earth is clearly flat.
The quote at the beginning of this is, "Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed," by Friedrich Nietzsche.
So mainstream science tells us that the Earth formed 4.6 billion years ago.
It's a good image, just a monkey over an asteroid or something. Graphic design is their passion.
After a big bang that created the known universe.
I mean, that was billions of years prior. I think that was about 10 billion years earlier. So there's a bit of a gap.
This wild theory is widely accepted as fact, and it's
Calling established consensus science crazy. I don't know if that necessarily works the way you think it does. It kind of just makes you look like you don't know what you're talking about, but whatever.
mechanically repeated by most people due to the fact that it's what public schools teach to the kids without challenge.
It's also what private schools teach if they don't suck and aren't religiously motivated.
There is absolutely no possible way to determine.
I don't think we're doing bingo today, just because it's only flat Earth. I can't imagine we're gonna get enough stuff for it.
Whether or not an event took place that long ago. It's actually very strange that anyone would believe this nonsense.
What are you talking about? We have evidence of things all the time. We aren't present for literally everything that ever happens, but you can look at where we are. Look at it like a crime scene, right? Like an episode of Columbo. Columbo isn't present for the murders, but he's able to piece together how the crime occurred, generally, because of the evidence, right? We're doing the same thing scientifically all the time, is we're using evidence and tests to check what we think happened, or can happen, or does happen, or did happen, depending on what we're testing.
Mainstream science also tells us that life on Earth evolved into monkeys, which eventually evolved into us.
This is more evolution than flat Earth, but no, modern monkeys didn't evolve to humans. We share an ancestor with modern monkeys. We are apes. Fenekagami says, I guess people have to get a chance to go through the Epstein release before any tinfoil will come of it. Just so everyone knows, the redactions are going to be a mess because apparently the Trump administration waited until this week to have people go through thousands of files and only gave everyone 3 pages of instructions. They also pulled lawyers and people from everywhere, so a ton of the people don't know what they're doing. Oh boy.
There's only one huge gaping problem with the theory of evolution. We are not only missing one link between monkeys and humans, but we are missing hundreds, if not thousands.
Yeah, that's not how any of this works. If you use the term missing link, I just assume you have no idea what you're talking about in terms of evolution. So, I don't even need to debunk that. I think you guys know. I know my audience. You guys know why that argument doesn't really make sense. Because anytime you find a new link, all you've done is there are now 2 spaces between that link and the previous ones. You know what I mean? They will always say there are gaps, and anytime you find a filler to put in a gap, they just say, oh, there's 2 more gaps now on either side of that new discovery.
Of evolutionary links.
Yeah, the Dr. Banjo clip from Futurama is appropriate.
Maybe more. They want us to believe that one day we fell out of a monkey's ass and we landed.
No, this isn't even reductio ad absurdum. You're just, like, completely misrepresenting what evolution says. Just a peach with a $2 tip says, Happy Pissmas Eve. Back at ya.
On a spinning ball that's advancing through outer space.
Jay's a proxy with, this might be the banjo clip, I'm not sure.
Oh! If your elitist East Coast evolution is real, why
East Coast evolution
has no one found the missing?
Yeah, you get it.
Space at ridiculous speeds. We are being deceived.
Let's put it in perspective. They think they came from monkeys, okay? I don't care how many letters they have after their name. You know, these guys go to school, they read books, they come out believing they came from monkeys, and then they have the audacity to say...
Did you just shit on reading books? Did he just use the term... Did he just say reading books derisively? Reading books! You disgusting book readers! Oh, God. H-Bird says, I figured it out. He got confused about who's coming out of whose butt.
It might happen.
Cha! And monkeys might fly out of my butt. Yeah, I've seen Wayne's World a few times.
That we're the stupid ones. Listen to what they have to say.
In the beginning, there was darkness, and then bang, giving birth to an endless expanding existence of time, space, and matter. Every day, new discoveries are unlocking the mysterious, the mind-blowing, the deadly secrets of a place we call the universe.
It is, of course, a mystery as to why the universe exists in such an intelligible manner, but it suggests to me, at least, that there's a deep link between the universe, the grand scheme that's unfolding, and beings like ourselves. Somehow, the universe has become self-aware. It's engineered the emergence of comprehending, thinking beings like ourselves who can come to know the universe.
That's pretty woo-woo.
Some people marvel at the fact that the universe has, over billions of years, given birth to beings who can appreciate its complexity.
Anthropic principle, I'm gonna put there, like, by definition, only a universe in which there are beings that are able to think about things and appreciate the universe, only in that universe would they be aware of it.
We can even
Hey,
ponder
Nemesaur.
where and how we fit in.
Badly.
But at the dawn of history, people thought they knew the answers to these profound questions.
The ancients viewed their world as a snow globe. It's essentially a flat Earth, say a disk, covered by a dome. And we call this in English a firmament. And in the firmament is where all the
This isn't from Ancient Aliens, is it? It has the vibe of a History Channel show.
stars and the planets were hung.
Almost all ancient cultures believed their universe existed in a dome similar to this one. And they never questioned who created it.
Why are they framing it this way? Do you mean literally? Like, why is it in a little TV frame? Because this is some sort of copyrighted material they're using. In fairness, I do think they're using it in fair use, but still.
Assumed
Maybe a little excessive, but...
that there was a god or gods responsible for the creation and the maintenance of the universe.
The idea that God created the universe went largely unchallenged until the Middle Ages, when scientists made a sacrilegious suggestion based on their observations. The sun, not the earth, was at the center of the universe.
Wow, they're
There's
just
paradigm
playing a lot
shift.
of this without
There is
commentary.
now another way to explain the naturally occurring phenomena around us, and this is science.
Since the Middle Ages, scientists have developed sophisticated new theories about the enormity.
It is the voice of the Ancient Aliens narrator. God damn it, they're using Ancient Aliens as a source. And they're not even like, how do I put this? They're not using it to support their arguments. They're using it as though Ancient Aliens is the mainstream scientific view of the universe. They're straw manning. They're using Ancient Aliens as a straw man. Okay, cool beans. That's very deceptive and makes you look like an asshole, ODD-TV, just so you know.
Of the universe and our place in it. Theories that often have no room for God.
Many phenomena have appeared mysterious or miraculous or magical. And then through the process of science, we've eventually understood them. Scientists gradually realized that the sun really is just one star among a multitude of stars in a gigantic galaxy, having hundreds of billions of such stars. And all this was created in a Big Bang 13.7 billion years ago.
Are they just gonna play this whole episode? This goes on for another minute. They're just showing like 10 minutes of this episode of Ancient Aliens.
Scientific theories.
I'm gonna assume you guys won't mind if I skip through this part, because again, it's borderline copyright infringement.
Could in principle exist in a vast hyperspace.
We can understand the idea of hyperspace by comparing it to a mug of beer.
The beer
Oh,
mug
it's
would
still
Or
going.
an infinite number
Jesus
of other
Christ. How much do they play
universes.
this?
To make one, to make lots of planets.
Jesus.
As long as you have the capacity to make one, it's easy to make lots of them.
Oh, really?
Evolution isn't the only thing we are being lied to about. The earth under our feet has been molded into a spinning ball that is a byproduct of the...
Are they starting with evolution in the hopes of getting creationists on the bandwagon for flat Earth? That's my assumption, rhetorically speaking. Why else would you start with evolution and dunking on evolution, except to hopefully ingratiate yourself into the, you know, minds of already kind of fringe people, creationists, so that they're more willing to listen to your spiel about flat Earth, and also they're going to do it from a biblical perspective, I would imagine. Stone Corbell with a 30-stream streak says, E. Okay.
Big Bang, which is a theory that was in...
Fenigami with 40-bit says, the idea Zeus controlled the weather went largely unchallenged until scientists invented the water cycle.
Introduced to science.
Those losers.
In 1931. In order for the theory of evolution to be reasonable, the Big Bang that was somehow pinpointed to 13.7 billion...
Depraved Ambient says, usually creationists are embarrassed to be associated with flat earthers, which is so funny because the beliefs are not like that far apart in terms of how unscientific they are. Like, they're really about equal in terms of like how unfounded the belief is. But whatever.
Years ago has to be true. In the Big Bang cosmology, the Earth is a rotating sphere orbiting around the sun. The issue is that the motion of the Earth has never been detected, and here we are in the year 2016 looking for the curvature of our world, which also can't seem to be measured.
I mean, you can literally go and find it. It absolutely is measured all the time. What are you talking about?
Mainstream science...
Just saying, well, I don't see it, isn't an argument. It just makes you look like a dipshit.
Using theory after problematic theory to try and prove another theory isn't science.
And this guy, who's a YouTuber, is qualified to tell you which scientific theories are, quote, problematic. He knows, because he can edit videos. As a video editor myself, let me tell you, not a skill that transfers into STEM.
Science at all. Real science will reveal a stationary Earth that's turning out to be quite flat, with a sun that's much closer than we are told. Despite what you hear, flat earthers aren't anti-science at all. We just
want to make science whatever our feelings say instead of what's actually tested by evidence. Why do they say we don't like science?
Don't condone what may...
Flat earthers love the veneer of science. They hate the actual process, because when they actually use the process, it shows them to be wrong. Speaking of measuring the movement of the Earth, famously, a flat earther, Bob, I think Bob Nodell was his name, he and some of his people bought a $20,000 laser gyroscope in order to try and measure... what were they trying to measure? I think they were trying to prove that the Earth does not move, because they were trying to use the gyroscope. But when they used the gyroscope, of course, they found that it was spinning at 15 degrees per hour, which is what we expect to find on our round Earth that spins. So, kind of funny that when they actually do use science, it just kind of proves them wrong.
Mainstream science has become. And that's a faith-based religion swarming with lies and ludicrous theories that have never been proven. Also,
he said they'd never been proven, so it must be true. Not just everyone can make a YouTube video.
This reemergence of the Flat Earth has little to do with the Flat Earth Society. If you have the desire to further look into this...
They are so obsessed with the Flat Earth Society and, like, pissed off that it just is different Flat Earth beliefs than theirs. I've talked about this before, but the Flat Earth Society is like a parody, right? It pre-existed the current Flat Earth movement, and as far as I can tell, was a joke. It was a joke. But real flat earthers are very upset about the Flat Earth Society because they think it's a psyop in order to make Flat Earth look silly, not understanding Flat Earth looks silly regardless of whether or not the Flat Earth Society exists or not. But they put a lot of time and attention on it, and it's kind of funny.
Check for answers on their website. Some of the claims made by the Flat Earth Society are decent, while others are absurd. This is a common ploy to encourage...
Rick M says, fun fact, my father was a key engineer designing ring laser gyroscopes. That's cool. That must be cool to have someone in your family that did something. Neat. Fennikagami with 40 bits says, I think that the embarrassment of creationists feel comes from the fact that the flat earthers face society-wide ridicule that creationists should face, so they're successfully shamed from that position. And Peeplord says, Hannah, you have an LLC. Maybe you'd know if I'm under an LLC, promote energy cleanse, quote, at-home concepts, and maybe some accompanying videos, how protected am I in my personal assets? These programs use home ground connections and energy tap to provide a full-body quantum electro-energy cleanse with natural 60 hertz frequency. That was good word salad. Unfortunately, you would probably be quite protected. I know you're just joking, though.
Investigation by the controlled opposition known as the Flat Earth Society.
It's a commonly held misconception that the Earth is a spherical object that revolves around the Sun. But the fact is, of course, that the Earth is a circular dish surrounded by a barrier of ice that explorers have been attempting to penetrate for centuries.
What if gravity isn't real? What if the Earth is in fact flat and science has been wrong all along?
Oh, I'm sure he appreciates that clip being used like that.
Everything that you've been taught is a lie.
We're shown that and told that's the solar system, that's the way it works. You've got the big sun in the middle and all the planets revolve around it, but nobody's ever seen that. We've never seen a photograph of it. We've never seen, real part. We've certainly never seen any animation of it, even though there's supposed to be a probe out in Pluto at the moment.
I've never seen a photograph of my own bones, but I'm pretty sure I have them.
Never seen the solar system like this. It's always graphics, it's always secondary knowledge.
Things that people hold dear and call fact, like gravity, like the age of the universe formation itself, the age of the Earth, they're all dependent on things that are unproven. While they're good to consider, we should consider everything. You have allowed them to become facts that appear in our
textbooks
taught by professors.
I've had like an x-ray at the dentist, but no, I've never really had a body x-ray, I don't think.
It's as facts.
The argument, for all practical purposes, came to an end.
At minimum, I've never seen it, if I have had it done.
And when
and that's what I said, I've never seen it, so.
Church of England was established by law during the 16th century. They embraced many...
You're not one of those bone truthers, are you? Bones aren't real. They're created by doctors so they can charge you for putting you in a cast, okay? I'm firmly of the belief that we move around using a series of fluid-filled sacks. Look at my sacks go.
Radical scientific notions prevalent at the time.
I say really dumb stuff sometimes.
Including Copernicus' round Earth theory. With this endorsement, the theory found its way into the schools, which were then largely controlled by the church. It has remained there to this day, and many children have accepted it without question.
All seeing eye.
What are teeth? Natural chiclets. Pop them off, you eat them like a mint.
And the square compasses. Here we have Buzz Aldrin, the second man, supposedly that walked on the grey dust of Kubrick's film set. Showing off, they don't try and hide it, it's amazing. There's his Masonic ring, he's got his Shriner hat there. And these guys, yeah, they're supposedly praying to the command module. Looks like a pyramid to me.
It's a cone. It's a cone, you idiot. You don't know the difference between a cone and a pyramid? Oh my god. Oh my god.
Between Ron L. Hubbard, or L. Ron Hubbard, who started the Scientology movement, Walt Disney, Werner von Braun, rocket scientist, Jack Doug Parsons.
Do they literally just bring up Walt Disney because he included stuff about NASA in his Wonderful World of Disney show, or whatever it was called? He did that, you know, he did, like, shows. I don't know if people know this, but I can't pull it up for copyright reasons. But Walt Disney did a variety of television programs where he was talking about NASA, or allowing them to talk about NASA, in large part as advertising for his theme parks, because he was building Tomorrowland, right?
There's also a rocket scientist, Jet Propulsion's laboratory.
And later the Epcot Center.
And Aleister Crowley, who's obviously, you know, an arch Satanist, influenced a lot of rock music and everything else. Started the OTO, the Ordo Tempora Orientis. These guys are all connected. They're all in the same brotherhood. The connections between, well, here you go. Jack Parsons, the JPL was how obviously NASA got into got into the air in the first place, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Here's Jack Parsons at a Masonic ceremony. You can tell by the floor. And again, you can look into this for yourself. Yeah, it's easily searched.
A lot of people have been Freemasons. It's not sinister. It's at worst cringe. But even then, they do a lot of charity work, so I guess calling it cringe is maybe not fair. I find some of the ceremonial stuff regarding Freemasonry to be cringe, but they do charity, so I'll give them credit for that. Peeplord says, I've touched my own ilium, got to stuff it back in every time I got my heart rate up more than 5 minutes for 2 months. Next time, instead of going to the ER, I'll go to Sweden. What?
It's easily researchable information, the connection between Walt Disney. Here we have aboard the ISS. Again, now we're getting into the handshakes. We've got Baphomet, all doing it.
It's not Baphomet! Oh my god!
Yeah,
people do shit with their hands!
Can do that, and Bosch and all these guys give you that. We know what that means. We know who they're in service to. This is all about occultism. It's all about sun worship, heliocentrism. It's not science. It's a religion. It's a faith. This is Helios.
You can be cringe and still do charity. True. Anyone remember Butternips?
This is Helios, the sun god. And here he is on the badge of Apollo.
Moira Soma, thanks for gifting a sub.
This is all occult religion going all the way back through all Egypt and then back through to Babylon as well.
Life is much simpler on a flat plane. There's no complex theories or complicated.
My ideas are simple, therefore they're true, is such an accidentally revealing statement. We've talked before about how a lot of conspiracies exist because the world is a complicated place, and our brains really didn't evolve to tackle narratives and realities as complicated as we face today, right? We lived in very simple, small communities historically, villages, family groups, tribes, we had a very small world when we were evolving, But now we live in such a big world where things are so complicated. We don't like it. Our brain gets all itchy. It gets uncomfortable with the complexity of the world. So instead, people kind of manufacture simple narratives, like Flat Earth, that take the complexity of the world and simplify it down into something a lot more palatable. It's not true, it's not accurate, it's not even necessarily practically helpful, but it is simpler, and that's what people are looking for sometimes. MSKTB89 with 54 months says, I remember Butternips and Y-Hole Gate. I'm old. Anyway, that's a stream baby. This stream baby's name is going to be Carlos Tavinelli. Carlos Tavinelli. I got nothing.
Mathematics involved in it. The flat plane. There's sea level is level. Everywhere you go at sea level it's sea level. There's no...
It looks like that to you because we're very small compared to the size of the world. So if you were much bigger, like if you could somehow grow giant, you would be able to see the curve. But you can't, because you're too tiny. That's why you have to be much further away, like in orbit, for instance, to really be able to see the curve. That would also work, either further away or if you were really big. But you're not. You're a tiny little person on a space ball. And I know you guys often use that as a reductio ad absurdum, but it's kind of true. You're a tiny little person on a rock floating through space, and you're too tiny, and your eyes are too tiny to see the curvature from the ground level. It's just a fact.
Bending. There's no bending the ocean.
Peep Lord says, example, found out I had Crohn's because of a stretch of my intestines deciding to die, resulted in needing an ileostomy, among other things. Sweden is a euphemism because they have voluntary discorporealation. I said that wrong. I know what you mean, though. If I ever need another organ poo bag, I'm a Minecraft. Don't touch the organs. You're not supposed to, kids. I'm very sorry. Fennikagami with 40 bits says, those people have never seen a photo of God, and yet they believe in an imaginary invisible sky father that put them in the glass zoo enclosure and that puppeteers every event everywhere all the time, and who keeps them alive for his entertainment like a child with a goldfish. I feel like being a goldfish would be pretty chill. You just swim in circles all day. Sounds nice. We're on a hype train. If you want to help support the stream, you can always use bits or gift subs.
Ocean around a spinning...
Or subscribe yourself. Moira Soma, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Much appreciated, getting us over level 1.
All is level. It's all water finds its level and it maintains. You can't bend it.
Water finds its level doesn't mean what you think it means. It doesn't prove the earth is flat. That's not how any of this works. Please cease. Overthought, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs, getting us to 26% to level 4.
Around a ball.
This idea, these facts, they're facts.
Why the creepy music? Because you're supposed to feel that it's sinister, right? Not what these people are saying. You're supposed to trust these people, but in terms of like the editing and why they're doing the music, if you had come across this for the first time, the idea is that you should feel anxiety, like you're discovering something for the first time. It's a sense of dread that, oh my god, what they're saying is right. So the music is kind of trying to direct you through that dread, right? It's reinforcing it and making it feel like what you're hearing is very impactful and serious and important. Tea Time Tea, thank you for gifting 5 tier 1 subs as well, and Sweet Lily Love, thanks for 100 bits. Thank you all for the very generous gift sub drops today. Thank you so much.
Facts resonating with people all over the world is not an accident. It's not a coincidence.
That's insane. Just because a lot of people believe something doesn't make it true. That's crazy. If it was true, wouldn't it mean that the Earth was round because way more people believe it's round? Something resonating with people has absolutely no bearing on if it's true or not. Nemesaur, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs. Lots of gift subs today. Wow, thank you.
That is the hardest part for you guys to understand. The people that argue with me, that want to make me feel like a fucking idiot, that's not you talking. That's your...
No, I'm pretty sure it's me talking. I think you're quite a foolish person for believing that the Earth is flat.
Ego talking. That's... You have to convince yourself verbally to somebody who is challenging your own beliefs to make yourself feel better and to help you sleep at night.
No, not really. I don't really care what the shape of the Earth is. If it came out tomorrow that the shape of the Earth was something other than round, I would be interested, but it wouldn't be that big of a deal because my life wouldn't change all that much. I don't have an ego drive when it comes to the shape of the Earth. I'm a little frustrated at the Dunning-Kruger level overconfidence of a lot of flat earthers, so that's quite frustrating. But it's not an ego thing. In fact, it's kind of frustration at dealing with the egos of others. Flat earthers' egos are incredibly big. Yes, I can turn up the video.
The flat earth is a perfect example of that. You refuse to look at the information. It's stupid.
I've looked at all the information. It is stupid, but I've looked at it. I promise. It's just untrue.
Well, why is it stupid? Well, it just is. Well,
The fact that a lot of people can't articulate things doesn't mean you're right. There are people like me who can articulate things, and you're still wrong. Professor Dave, who can articulate things much better than I do, or Psyman Dan also can articulate things better than I do. There are plenty of people who are perfectly capable of articulating in specific why the arguments for flat earth are bad. You are using a straw man here to try and say that no one can articulate why your arguments are bad, which is ridiculous because there have been entire channels dedicated to articulating why your arguments are bad for like a decade. Again, thinking Psyman Dan.
every little thing that you've brought up, all of you, can be refuted and explained differently, but you refuse to see that. You refuse to look at it. That makes you ignorant. That is the definition of ignorance.
So how does Hollywood brainwash you? Well, one way is like this. They begin their movies on a globe, and then they zoom in to whatever the first scene is. Real?
That doesn't happen super often. Like, I don't know if I can even name any off the top of my head that do it. I know I've seen it, but it's not the most common thing in the world.
Clever way to brainwash you in the very first scene of any movie you see. Universal Studios is so bad they use this goddamn globe as their logo, as their intro to every single movie that they make. At the beginning of every single movie Universal makes, you're gonna see the spinning globe logo.
Thank you. The Burbs does it. Thank you.
No matter what the movie's about, you're gonna be...
Yeah, it's their trademark. It's their logo. It's literally the Universal logo, and a permutation has been for years. Hold on. The Universal logo has had a lot of changes over the years, but the central idea has remained pretty much the same, and it's the globe, or at least some sort of circle that it is going around. This is a look at the Universal logo over the years. I think my favorite's probably... There was one in motion that had an airplane flying around. I think it was during the 80s. I liked that one a lot. It was around the time when Amblin Entertainment was putting out a bunch of stuff. Anyway, sorry.
Be brainwashed.
No video. Real video of the real Earth spinning in space, which you'd all like to see, actually exists.
It does exist. You just define all videos of it as fake. There's literally live streams from the ISS that you could see the globe Earth rotating in real time, but you call that fake. That's a trick that they do all the time. They'll be like, there are no real images of the Earth, or there are no cameras that are showing the Earth spinning currently. And you find out, yes, there are. It's just that they decided that all of the images and video is fake. So they can easily say there's no evidence by just claiming all evidence that does exist is falsified. It's complete horseshit.
This is what he's shown. This is last year from the Discover satellite, the Epic camera. This is actually the dark side of the moon. Going past the Earth. There's the Earth spinning. And there's the dark side. I mean, the only problem with that is the moon's supposed to be orbiting the Earth, not just flying straight past it. Your eyes aren't fooled, yeah? You've got your own senses, trust your senses, this is clearly CGI, but you go to NASA's website and they will claim this was taken from a...
It kind of depends. Is it photographing the Earth rotating, or is it photographing the thing that took the picture traversing around the Earth? Because if it's traversing around, then the moon's position might look relatively stable. He's assuming that it's photographing the Earth rotating instead of something rotating around the Earth.
Million miles away from Earth by the Discover satellite.
This was a lovely Universal logo. Oh! Yeah, I like this one. This is the best classic one. I like the airplane. And plus, you can tell it's an actual model. I'm not like a CGI hater, but I do like models a lot. Fenikagami with 40 bits says, these people don't even know the definition of ignorance. Ignorance is a lack of knowledge and makes decisions based off of that lack. The word they're looking for is stubborn or obstinate, which is a refusal to change a position. Also, gay people know being straight isn't real, yet straightness is thrown in their faces all the time. Is straightness a conspiracy? Definitely. It's the most deeply rooted conspiracy in human history. Joke. Okay.
Satellite. You'll notice also that the clouds don't really move. I mean, they move across, but they don't change, don't swirl, they don't change direction. 5 hours.
Those clouds are probably added in post. They add clouds and stuff a lot in NASA images after the fact.
3:50 to 8:45 is nearly 5 hours of time-lapse photography, those clouds do not move at all.
You ever been mindfucked before?
That Diddy reference didn't age very well. Oh, JPEG compression. They're doing the JPEG thing again.
We don't have a picture.
Oh my god, there's a thing around this. Yes, that's how JPEG compression works. I'm gonna lose it.
Of our Earth. Except for the nice composite fake images NASA gives you to make sure you keep believing you're in a ball and keep arguing on their behalf. Keep fighting for them. Keep telling people we went to the moon simply because you can't let your mind think of the possibility that someone lied to you. The government lied.
People lie all the time. Why do you assume that people who know the Earth is round think that people are truthful all the time? It's such a bad argument. Just because I don't think they're lying about this particular thing doesn't mean I trust the government all the time and never distrust authority. That's crazy.
They can't lie. They're my government. Believe me, it's hard for all of us.
That's
oh yeah, this is Jaren too. Jaren is no longer a flat earther, so that's good.
The government doesn't lie to people.
I don't know if he accepts the actual shape of the Earth, but he's at least not a flat earther, last I checked. Because he did the final experiment thing, went down to Antarctica.
I was a huge Star Wars fan. Very, very disappointed to find out that I'm just being programmed. Again, it's a multi-pronged approach. Show you in, you know, they're not trying to pretend that Star Wars is real in any way, but again, it's impressing your brain again and again and again that the space and planets and spaceships and they're all round and everything else, okay?
It's not. It's just a movie, man. No one went to George Lucas and said, we have a great idea, George Lucas. Also, it's funny that they bring up Star Wars as if they knew Star Wars was going to be a hit. They didn't. Star Wars didn't invent the concept of the space opera. Holy shit, do you want to see my Flash Gordon collection? Like, Flash Gordon was a big inspiration for a lot of Star Wars, and it also involves, like, planets and space and stuff like that. Star Wars is derivative of a lot of things. One of the things that it's derivative of is Flash Gordon. And the Dam Busters. Peoplord says, JPEG, is this the J-date version of Fat Life? That joke was funny, and I hate you, because that was too funny. Fennikagami says, also, the presence of a lie doesn't prove what the lies are about.
Hollywood. So now we've got the ISS. Does this look solid? Is this like a solid machine to you? Or how do we know these are real? We don't. But I tell you what you don't see from the ISS, which you really should and you never do, is one of the 17,000 satellites that are also supposed to be spinning around up there.
Oh, you have no idea how small satellites are compared to the Earth. It's the Earth! It's the Earth! It's the Earth! Like, in an image like this that he's showing, the size of the satellites has been blown up exponentially in order to illustrate how many there are. You can't see them with your naked eye any more than you could see someone's house from orbit. It's too far away and too small relative to how far away you are.
As well.
What difference does it make?
Oh, it's this guy.
If it's a globe, or if it's...
Did I play the Buck Rogers video game? I did not. I do have Buck Rogers in the 25th century, though. Where's my Buck Rogers? There's my Buck Rogers in the 25th century. Ooh, that's good stuff. I have Buck Rogers. I'm actually very happy. I have almost every space TV show. Buck Rogers, Space 1999, of course I have Doctor Who, Battlestar Galactica, Farscape, The Expanse, all of Star Trek, Star Wars. I already said Battlestar Galactica, Stargate. It's good stuff. Anyway, Blake 7.
It's flat. They're stealing your money and showing you cartoons and CGI. Wouldn't that make a difference if it was a globe or if it was flat? Because they keep showing you cartoons of a globe. They show you CGI of a globe. They show you Hollywood trickery of a globe.
I do have the first 2 seasons of Blake 7 because they're still coming out with them. But yeah, hold on. Season 1, Season 2. Have I watched Stargate? Not yet! I have so many things on my lists!
They're stealing your fucking money. It's flat. That begs the
I do not have Earth 2.
question, hey, what the hell have you been showing us this ball for all this time? What have you been doing with our money? Did you guys go to space?
The Day the Earth Blew Up is the movie Warner tried to bury. I have that one. I actually have that. I watched it like a month ago. It was terrible. It was really bad.
Is evolution actually real? Did you guys just make this shit up? See, these are the questions we need to be asking. There might be more land out there.
Ballpark figure, how many movies do you own that you haven't seen yet? It's got to be in the hundreds, because I have 4,000 movies now. So hundreds, but I like that, to be honest.
There to be discovered? There might be
That is the same guy, Jay's a Proxy. He just shaved his beard.
a fucking firmament
Yeah, his channel's called Jake the Awake now, but that is the same guy.
up there.
But anyway, I liked that because my favorite thing as a kid was going to the video store and like picking out movies. So I just get to do that in my house. I'll be like, I want to watch a movie, and I'll go around and I'll look at my shelves and I'll find something I've not seen before, and I get to like read the back of the thing. It's just like going to the video store when I was a kid. It's wonderful.
We don't know. They've stolen our mind from us and stuck us on a cartoon ball.
We are being lied to, controlled, manipulated, stolen from, and I'm not going to stop speaking out.
There's a quote by Tesla. Today's scientists have substituted mathematics for experiments, and they wander off through equation after equation and eventually build a structure which has no relation to reality.
I need to point out that, like, this line of thinking is one of the reasons that in his later life, Nikola Tesla just wasted his time on stuff that was completely mathematically a non-starter. Like, I'm not saying that Nikola Tesla never did anything noteworthy. Of course, that would be crazy to say. But near the end of his life, he was off his rocker. He was not in line with, like, how you should be doing physics, basically, or engineering. He didn't trust math, and that's a bad thing to do when you're in the field of physics or engineering. You need to trust math.
That's what...
Of course, flat earthers love that quote, though, because it lets them disregard actual scientists in the modern age by going, that's just math. And then they don't have to learn math. It's a whole thing. It's basically a way to coddle ignorance and treat ignorance as though it's better than intelligence or training or education. It's terrible.
What happened with the globe theory? Everybody knew the world was flat until one day some guy came along and said, "Oh no, it's a ball. We're spinning through space. We're circling the sun." A lie is a lie, even if everybody believes it. And truth is...
You're correct that a lie is a lie even if everyone believes it. The problem is you're wrong about this, so...
It's truth, even if no one believes it.
Ptolemy refined a system with Earth at the center. For 1,500 years, Ptolemy's system...
Oh no, this is when Kate Mulgrew got tricked into being part of an anti-heliocentrism documentary.
Was used as the basis of astronomy and calendars, and it worked quite well.
Copernicus hated that, and Copernicus set about to undo Ptolemy's greatest discovery.
While working at the request of Pope Leo X on improvements to the Julian calendar.
Yeah, you're correct, Lucas Dawn. She was tricked into doing this without knowing what the project actually was.
Copernicus conceived what turned out to be the foundational idea of modernity itself. The idea that the Earth moved. Not all were persuaded by Copernicus, however. The greatest astronomer of the time, Tycho Brahe, developed a new geocentric...
They're finally releasing Throw Mama from the Train? Yes! I love that movie. That movie is hilarious. It's one of my favorite comedies from that era, and it never got a Blu-ray release. So that's awesome that it's finally getting a 4K.
Model. The Earth occupies...
If you haven't seen Throw Mama from the Train, check it out. It's very, very funny.
...the center. The planets orbit the sun, and the sun orbits the Earth.
They basically stole our minds and enslaved us by showing us a picture of a ball. Said, here's what you live on, it's a ball.
That's deranged.
And
It's like genuinely deranged that they talk this way and act as though they're trying to control you. Everyone's trying to steer your mind. Everyone's trying to get you, man. The government's out to get you. Everyone's out to get you, and they're all out to get you in the exact same way. Like, it's crazy.
It's a different picture.
The paranoia is astounding.
Of a ball. Here's a different picture of a ball. And everyone's just like, yeah, that's the same place. It doesn't matter if the colors of the continents change. It doesn't matter if the color of the oceans change. It doesn't matter.
Are you aware what seasons are? The color changes of the continent because it's undergoing a different part of the year. The perspective thing is actually a camera lens thing. It depends on your distance from the object as well as the actual lens that you're using. What the focal length of the lens is changes how it actually looks. Yeah.
Or if the continents change sizes, change locations.
Tycho hired a young assistant named Johannes Kepler in 1600. Kepler, working on his own development of the Copernican system, needed Tycho's observations, but Tycho refused to part with them. When Tycho died suddenly and mysteriously in 1601, Kepler took charge of Tycho's observations and used them to develop his own system. In Kepler's system, the sun is in the center, while the planets move on ellipses, non-uniformly. The ellipse, with its two foci, allows us to see that Ptolemy's epicycles and equant were actually a brilliant attempt to express non-uniform motion centuries before Kepler. Indeed, once the concept of non-uniform motion is introduced, all of these systems can be shown to be geometrically identical.
Copernicus was the main...
MSTB89 says Tycho Bronte was such a weirdo. He kept a person with dwarfism as a pet. Are you serious? What?
Guy.
Why did they let him do that? What?
Who started off the revolution. His book on the revolutions of the...
Why was he allowed to keep a person as a pet? The fuck?
Celestial spheres changed, you know, thousands of years of thinking about the Earth being completely still, as you can experience it for yourself every single day of your life, and obviously the bodies move in the heavens above us. That's what your senses experience. Copernicus changed all that round, but he didn't...
Is it bad to say I hope the little person was into it?
Use any science.
Like, did he find any little person, or did he find someone who's like, I would like to be your pet? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know, man. That's fucked.
There's no science in his book. He got his ideas from the Hermetica, from Hermes Trismegistus. And it basically says how the sun sits enthroned...
It was common! What do you mean it was common? What do you mean it was common? This was not a one-off. You're telling me that, and I've never heard of this somehow, that in 1500s Europe, people were keeping people with dwarfism as pets. And this was like a thing, and I've never heard this until now. Everything is pain. What the fucking shit?
In the middle of the...
Consciousness is a burden.
In the middle of the solar system, and we all orbit around it. What's that sound like to you? That sounds like sun worship. It sounds like sun cult to me. Because later on, I'm going to show you, Fred Hoyle was another astronomer royal. He said there's no difference in the mathematics, whether it's geocentric or heliocentric. The sun moves around the Earth moves around the sun. The mass works the same, exactly the way. The connections between just from the imaging. Yeah, I wouldn't be, you know, have a portrait done with a big 33 on it, or a triangle with an eye, or anything like that. I wouldn't want to be connected or associated with any of that stuff, because I'm not really into that kind of stuff. I'm working for the other side. But Copernicus obviously had no problem with the square and compass. Yeah, with the big wheel here, we've got the big sun wheel, and we've got the Mercury sign as well. Yeah, all leads back again. You can investigate that more for yourself. The Book of Thoth by Aleister Crowley, Freemasonry with the sun over the head. Yeah, as above, so below.
Freyline with a link to a Wikipedia article called Count Dwarf. Several dwarves over the course of history were employed as court dwarves. They were owned and traded amongst people of the court and delivered as gifts to fellow kings and queens. Human beings are disgusting. What the fuck is wrong with us? Why are we the worst animal? It's like we decided, hey, let's evolve a moral conscience and then just do nothing but evil with it. What the fuck? Why did we even develop a moral conscience if this is what we're gonna do? Peeplord with 40 bits says, yeah, duped. BS. She got forced to do it as a plea agreement for temporal manipulation. There was one idiot foundational to time that was on a knife's edge of graduating high school, but he was needed to fail out, fulfill a career he was actually good at, but early in his career he had to set up a home bedroom set for a kid in the Midwest. In the other timeline, the desk falls apart and he breaks his computer. In this one, the kid gets into video games and Discord. That was a lot. Because of this, in a few years, he's the greatest AI song of all time is produced. So it's still shit. Okay. It's like shitty Bill and Ted. Okay.
Yeah. One of the reasons why Mercury, because it can rise in the morning and the night, so it's also hermaphroditic. Both sexes, which obviously is Baphomet as well, which we know as the breast and the penis. It goes on and on and on. It's all about cult sun worship. You can trace it back to Babylon. You can see all the different gods going through it, but there is no...
I'm not gonna read that, Peeplord.
No signs to Copernicus.
I know you're just shit posting, but what the fuck?
Copernicus is on the revolutions of the spheres. It's a philosophical tract, and it's all based on the Hermetica.
Up is up, down is down.
The breasts and the penis, not the breasts on the penis, Jay's a proxy. They were talking about Baphomet, which is that, like, goat-headed figure that has breasts and presumably a wiener.
A visual aid. I have a pin. If I release it from my grip, what happens? Anybody? Correct. It falls. Was that gravity?
No.
The molecules that make up this pin, the plastic, the ink, it's got a little rubber grip on it, are more dense than the molecules of the air surrounding it. The molecules of the air...
Except it falls in a vacuum, too. So you want to explain that one? Peeplord says, it was a whole stupid story. My bad. Thanks Janeway for the song. Are you okay?
Will not support.
You're typing things that don't make a lot of sense, and I can't tell if it's shit posting or circumstantial speech.
The weight.
Do you smell burnt toast?
So they fall. So it falls when you let go. Like that. Density and mass make an object heavy.
Again, if this was the case, if you went into a vacuum chamber, stuff would just float. But it doesn't. It falls just the same, because it has nothing to do with atmospheric pressure, it has nothing to do with density, at least not in the way he's describing. It has everything to do with the gravitational pull of objects. Mass attracts mass. I don't know why they're so anti this idea. It's demonstratable. I don't get why they're so immune to the idea that mass attracts mass. They just hate it.
There's no gravity. Simple. Up is up, down is down. Objects fall because they're heavy. If it floats, it's lighter than air. Helium, fill a balloon with helium, It goes up. You filled it with hydrogen, it would also go up. Lighter than air, floats. Heavier than air, falls.
What does a helium balloon do in a vacuum chamber, sir?
It's not complicated.
Gravity is a god because it's the answer. It's the magic answer to everything. Why? How does the Earth keep us on, but it still spins around, it still orbits, and gravity? How's the moon? How's the type of gravity? Why doesn't the moon fly off to the sun? Because the sun's got bigger gravity. It's the way gravity works. Don't worry about its gravity. Gravity is the god that explains everything very, very magically. There is no need for gravity whatsoever if we're on a fixed stationary plane and the heavenly bodies are simply going above us. The reason why you don't fall off is because you're denser than the air that underneath you. It's just, again, Occam's razor. It's a straightforward explanation.
Basically,
Peoplord says the joke was Kate didn't get duped. It was a butterfly effect that made the AI Kirk song come into existence. The payoff was a Kirk joke, but I whiffed it. Okay, I gotcha.
perspective of living on a globe is preposterous. It's ridiculous. It's hilarious. How we are taught to perceive the world we live on, because basically, even when trying to depict it, it's hilarious. They have no way of depicting it without it being comical.
I mean, this is not at all close to realistic. Do you think this is an attempt to show an accurate look at the globe? It's not. It's incredibly stylized. It's not even, it's more like a yin-yang that's just in the shape of, like, the globe.
Whales climbing the curve, like, it's absurd. How could we live on a globe?
I mean, if it was this size, I would agree with you, but I don't know if you know this. This is not the scale of the Earth.
Core of the Earth, you know, that you've seen the cutaway. This much is crust and mantle and magma and liquid molten stuff at the center. The deepest hole that's ever been drilled in the history of mankind,
17 miles
to date, even with today's technology, 8 miles.
Oh, I thought it was 17.
If you want to say this is what the first 8 miles looks like, I will believe you, because they can show me the hole. This goes 8 miles down, okay? It goes 8 miles down. That's how thick is the plane that we live on? It's at least 8 miles, because they've drilled down that far. But
why does he believe we've drilled down that far? You ever notice that? They're willing to believe that, but they're not willing to believe we've been to the moon. For some reason, you believe we have indeed drilled down 8 miles, but you don't believe other claims of scientists. It's a little weird, isn't it?
But they can't go any farther. It doesn't work. So it's speculation.
With a sphere of 4,000 miles radius being spun round once every 24 hours, a little bit of calculations will show that that person there is being spun round at about 1,000 miles an hour and it doesn't know it. I mean, this is obvious nonsense.
The stage was set for one of the most important events in the history of physics, the Michelson-Morley experiment. The experiment failed to detect the Earth moving in or against the ether. The problem...
Because the ether isn't real. This is the experiment that falsified the ether.
...was serious. Although various solutions were advanced, in the end, science was faced with a choice. Either discard the ether, or admit that the Earth wasn't orbiting the sun. It was Albert Einstein who came up with the solution, which now forms the basis of our physics, and which we call the theory of relativity. Einstein eliminated the ether as the cause, and said that it was simply a principle of nature. That when objects move through empty space, they contract in length. They decrease in the time traveled, and their mass increases, all by the same proportion. Hence, in order to maintain the Copernican principle, the length, time, and mass of moving objects were altered. And This is the essence of Einstein.
It's important to note that this has been demonstrated to be true, and actually stuff like our modern satellites and GPS systems wouldn't work without taking this into account. Because satellites circling the Earth, they're going relatively fast. Relatively. You know, they're not going the speed of light, but they're going quite fast still, enough that they have to adjust the internal clocks on them slightly so that they stay in time with the ones on Earth, because relativity exists and it actually changes the frame of reference temporal point for the satellite.
Special.
So we have, like, actual evidence that this is true. It's not simply speculative. It's not even just mathematical, although mathematics is the standard anyway. We literally practically have to use this, otherwise our communication systems, our GPS systems, do not function.
Theory of relativity.
All of physics collapses
Hey, Bullet Bill, how are you doing?
with that experiment.
Foucault's pendulums do not
H-Baird with 40 bits says, they keep saying to trust your senses, but if you fly an airplane into a cloud and don't look at your instruments, you're almost guaranteed to roll over and you lose control of an airplane. Our senses are designed for hunter-gatherers in Africa. We have to use technology for more complex things. And it's important to note that the reason they tell you not to trust instrumentation and math is because all of the instrumentation and math shows that these people are wrong and shows that the Earth is in fact round. They have to tell you to only trust your senses because your senses are unreliable. And they need that unreliability of your senses for any of this to make any sense because it's untrue. So you need to have that level of, like, I don't know, bad information going into the system to come out of it believing flat Earth.
uniformly swing in any one direction. Sometimes they rotate clockwise, and sometimes counterclockwise. Sometimes they fail to rotate, and sometimes they rotate far too much. Scientists who have repeated variations of the experiment have conceded time and again that, quote, it was difficult to avoid giving the pendulum some slight lateral bias at starting. The behavior of the pendulum actually depends on 1. the initial force beginning its swing, and 2. the ball and socket joint used, which most readily facilitates circular motion over any other. The supposed rotation of the Earth is completely inconsequential and irrelevant to the pendulum's swing. If the alleged constant rotation of
Stone Corbell says, did we need the endlessly repeating ominous chord progression over the whole video? How else will the viewer know how they're supposed to be feeling?
the Earth affected pendulums in any way,
See you, Miss Hire. Good to see you.
then there should be no need to manually start pendulums in motion. If Earth's diurnal rotation caused the 360-degree uniform rotation of pendulums, then there should not exist a stationary pendulum anywhere on Earth. It has been said that the pendulum experiment proves the rotation of the Earth, but this is quite impossible, for one pendulum turns one way, and sometimes another pendulum turns in the opposite direction. Now we ask, does the Earth rotate in opposite directions at different places at one and the same time? We should like to know.
Hello.
Perhaps the experimenters will kindly enlighten us on this point.
There's all kinds of evidence for the phenomenon of what's called continental drift.
We've talked about that Eric Dubé video before. I think he fundamentally does not understand what the pendulum experiment is even showing, because he seems to think that all pendulums should just be swinging wildly, like at 1,000 miles per hour. I don't think he understands that it's showing, like, the rotation of the Earth at 15 degrees per hour.
This means that the continents are able to move as if they're floating on a fluid. Now, if the Earth is spherical, if it's spinning, anybody knows that if this is spinning very, very, very fast like that, that the continents should all be located at the equator, because centrifugal force would move the continents from
Plate tectonics is a thing! Plate tectonics is a thing!
The poles to the middle.
The Coriolis
If that was the only force, maybe. I'm not a physicist, but there are so many other things at play that doesn't make any sense.
effect is often said to cause sinks and toilet bowls in the northern hemisphere to drain spinning in one direction, while in the southern hemisphere causing them to spin the opposite way, thus providing proof of the spinning ball Earth. Once again, however, just like Foucault's pendulums spinning either which way, Sinks and toilets in the northern and southern hemisphere do not constantly spin in
Yeah, this has to actually be something bigger, like a hurricane. It has to be a bigger system for it to consistently do it.
any one direction. Sinks and toilets in the very same household are often found to spin in opposite directions, depending entirely upon the shape of the basin and the angle of the water's entry, not the supposed rotation of the Earth. Jennifer Horton wrote, "While the premise makes sense that the Earth's eastward spin would cause the water in a toilet bowl to spin as well."
Christopher asks, what are my favorite fantasy movies? Princess Bride. What else? Labyrinth. I'm a big fan of Labyrinth. Conan, Beastmaster. I like dark fantasy movies. Like that kind of aesthetic and vibe.
Well, in reality, the force and speed at which the water enters and leaves the receptacle is much too great to be
Dark Crystal's pretty good.
Influenced by something as minuscule as a single 360-degree turn over the span of a day. When all is said and done, the Coriolis effect plays no larger a role in toilet flushes than it does in
there were some ones.
The revolution of CDs in your stereo. The things that really determine
Green Guy gave a tip earlier, but I'm not going to read it. But it was 15 minutes ago. Sorry about that I didn't see it, but I'm not reading that.
the direction in which water leaves your toilet or sink are the shape of the bowl and the angle at which the liquid initially enters the bowl. The Coriolis effect is also said to affect bullet trajectories and weather patterns as well, supposedly causing most storms in the northern hemisphere to rotate counterclockwise and most storms in the southern hemisphere to rotate clockwise, to cause bullets from long-range guns to tend towards the right of the target in the northern hemisphere and to the left in the southern hemisphere. Again, however, the same problems remain. Not every bullet and not every storm consistently displays the behavior, and therefore cannot reasonably...
The fact that you're saying it doesn't consistently show this behavior means to me that on the whole it does show that behavior, and you're trying to cling on to outliers in order to try and make it seem like this isn't a valid point, even though the vast majority of the time it does do that.
...be used as proof of anything.
Yeah, I don't like Eric Dubé's voice either.
They got us to ridicule it, and that was the genius in their whole plan. If you ridicule something socially, it's ridiculous, so I'm not going to look into it. When if you thinking about it, if you flip it inside out, to assume the Earth is flat makes so much sense. To assume it's a globe is so ridiculous. We should have laughed at that, you know? And it's funny how people who still believe in the sphere always make fun of the flat Earth, because they'll say, well, how can I stay on? I'll fall off. I mean, that's ridiculous. I'll fall off. Yet they have total faith in not tumbling down the sphere. For some reason...
Yes, because gravity exists.
This appears safe to them. You know, it's like, no, wouldn't a level surface appear more sensible and safe if you really think about it?
People say, well, go look at the planets. The planets are spheres, so that means we're a sphere.
It is not Die 2. It is not.
Here. No. Whip out a telescope. I've got one. Whip out your telescope and look at Mars. It's a dot of light. It's an orange dot. And then when you look at a NASA image, it's this desert world with...
Bill Wonka says, this is deep down a mental illness, right? These folks need help like any other mental illness. Maybe closer to personality disorder?
Canyons and ice.
Yeah, I'm not a flat earther, Die 2. Quite the opposite. I debunk conspiracy theories. The moon landing was fake? Don't think so.
And craters and shit. But when you look at it...
Oh, you're making a joke. Good.
Through an amateur telescope, like a good amateur telescope. Not one from fucking Walmart, like a good one. It's an orange dot. It's not a desert world with canyons and shit that they went to. There's no rover on Mars. They're prepping us with movies like The Martian so they can steal our money on a fake trip to Mars, just like they stole our money on a fake trip to the moon.
Again, I would ask flat earthers to take a look at the percentage of the United States budget that goes to NASA versus the defense budget, and try and with a straight face tell me that NASA is stealing money.
mysterious floating orb. Ooh! Ah! Ooh! Ah! Soup's on.
You don't need all the complex theories and math. The sun isn't 93 million miles away. It's much closer, and much smaller. Oh, it's 400 times bigger than the moon, but it's also 400 times farther away, so it appears to be the same size. The sun and moon are the same size.
They're not.
And they're not as far as they say they are. They circle above the plane that we live on, the flat plane. They circle. The sun shines down like a spotlight. It's around 24 hours.
The same phenomenon Eratosthenes measured could be explained by a flat Earth if the sun were only a few thousand miles away and 32 miles across. The math would work out the same.
Once you realize what's going on, you're on a flat plane, you can see the sun. It's like it moves towards you, passes overhead, and moves away from you. It's perspective, the distance, it moves that direction until it reaches the vanishing point, the point of convergence on the horizon, where you can no longer see its light.
This is a really, really good video to watch. It's called The Amazing...
I need to run and use the bathroom real quick, so I will be right back. While I'm gone, Chair will tell you about, Somewhere in Time. This is actually a great movie. This is great, and it was filmed on Mackinac Island here in Michigan. Christopher Reeve is in it. Really excellent movie. This is getting a 4K next year, courtesy of Kino Lorber, so that's cool. The ending makes me cry. Be right back. I'm back.
Flight of a balloon to the edge of space. And if you watch it, you will see, because those are clouds there. This isn't the ocean. This is clouds. And what have we got here? That's a hot spot from the sun. Now, if the sun's 93 million miles away, yeah, but massive, how is it causing a heat spot on here? Well, this is a still from it. You can watch the video for yourself, but this is what it does. There's minutes and minutes of this video as it spins around. You can see it again and again. It will blow your mind because you'll see the sun isn't that far away at all, because it can't be causing a heat spot on the clouds if it's 93 million miles away. If it's massive, it should all be coming in at the same angle. There should be no...
The sun is obviously not 93 million miles away. It looks very close.
Circumnavigate.
Die 2, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to waste time and energy trying to convince you of something that you've already made your mind up on. I'm just not going to do it. If you want to waste your time Believing everything's a conspiracy, that's your right. In this chat, no one believes you, though. I don't believe you. You're just wasting your time. I'm not going to waste my breath. You're not going to change your mind. So.
Navigation is really just a flat circle path. Gravity as we know it simply doesn't exist.
The sailor thinks that he's traveling around the Earth this way, when in effect he's traveling around the Earth this way. And he's creating a circle. He's moving in a continuous direction around. He goes through the various parts of the circle, and he comes back where he started from, swim around this way.
One of heliocentrists'
Yes, I'm aware they're sea lining, which is why I'm not going to waste time on it.
favorite supposed proofs of their ball Earth theory is the ability for ships and planes to circumnavigate, to sail or fly at right angles to the North Pole, and eventually return to their original location. Since the North Pole and Antarctica are covered in ice and guarded no-fly zones, however, no ships or planes have ever been
The
known
North Pole isn't just covered in ice, it is ice.
to circumnavigate the Earth in north-south directions, only east-west. And herein lies the rub. East or westbound circumnavigation can just as easily be performed on a flat plane as it can on a globular sphere. Just as a compass can place its center point on a flat piece of paper and trace a circle either way around the pole, so can a ship or plane circumnavigate a flat Earth. The only kind of circumnavigation which could not happen on a flat Earth is north-south bound, which is likely the very reason for the heavily enforced flight restrictions. Flight restrictions originating from none other than the United Nations, the same United Nations which haughtily uses the flat Earth map as its official logo and flag. So the ball earther's logical argument is that only a globe can be circumnavigated, the Earth has been circumnavigated, and therefore the Earth is a globe. This is indeed a logical modus ponens statement, but the conclusion is rendered invalid because the first premise, that only a globe can be circumnavigated, is categorically false.
There is no curve, man. You went up on top of your house and saw the curvature. You went on a plane and saw the curve. No, you didn't. There is no curvature. You know how I know? I tried to debunk the flat Earth and I failed.
Oh, you must not have been very good at it.
That's how most of us get started. We try to debunk the flat Earth and we
A lot of people are not capable of it. They're just not.
fail.
So they fall into bullshit. That sucks.
There's no evidence for curvature when you use your own senses and your own observations. Cross Lake Michigan, from St. Joseph to Chicago, is 60 miles.
He said Michigan instead of Michigan. It's a little funny.
Over 60 miles, to anything under 2,400 feet should not be seen. This is a visual of how that works. See the blue, obviously the green line is you're straight out. As if you were looking straight out, obviously the Earth's supposed to curve, so the blue line is where it curves. Anything beyond the blue line should not be seen. Sears Tower is only 450 feet high. It's the highest, obviously, building in Chicago. It's giving you the heights of some of the rest of the buildings there. There's quite a famous picture, a guy called Joshua Nowicki, of Chicago from 60 miles away. We shouldn't be able.
This I don't understand. Whenever they use this as an image, like, you can see the tops of certain very tall towers, but the fact that you don't see the entirety of them and you don't see the entire skyline, you just see, like, the tops of the tallest buildings. Is that not indicative to you that there's a curve? Certainly there's some refraction going on that's allowing you to see this at all in the first place, but the fact that you're not seeing the entire thing falsifies what you're trying to say, that it's flat, right? Because if it was flat, why would you only see the very tops? Doesn't make a lot of sense.
To see any of it should be all behind 2,400 feet of curve. Yeah. Now people say, but you can't see the bottom of the. You know, it's proven that the Earth's curved because you can't see the bottom of it. But you can't see the bottom of it because seas and lakes, they wave. They go up and down. They're not completely. I mean, obviously, if it's completely flat and completely clear, then you'll see a lot more of it. But this actually proves that the picture wasn't taken from very high above sea level. If it was, you'd see a lot more of the buildings, like in this next one. From slightly closer, from only 37 miles away and should be behind.
Oh, so it's closer and you can see more of the buildings. I wonder why that would be. It's almost like there's less curvature obscuring it when you get closer because you're going further over the curvature. He's accidentally demonstrating the curve of the Earth.
And 900 feet of curve. I think we can see more than 500 feet of the Sears Tower there, but you can see virtually all of the skyline. Because obviously it's a clearer day, it's a little bit brighter, and obviously the waves aren't as choppy. Here's the opposite. There's 36 miles of waves in between. Why?
Just a peach with $1 tip says, also Chicago has a seawall that the city is above, so the lake is like way lower. And H. Baird says, the most recent pole-to-pole circumnavigation was earlier this year. The first was in the 60s. Okay, so they're lying about that too. The polar mission, pole-to-pole from the air capital. Well, there you go. Oh, I wish flat earthers would stop lying.
We see the whole thing. But we can still see far more of it. It should be 840 feet a drop. You shouldn't be able to see... Oh, we should be able to see less than the top half of those. We go on to a different city, Toronto, across Lake Ontario.
Densetsu says, I love when moon landing deniers act like 1969 was basically the Stone Age. Yeah, like, my parents were alive. Like, what the fuck are you people doing? It's not that long ago.
Place called Grimsby. Obviously not in Lincolnshire. 37 miles away, should be behind 900 feet of curve. The CN Tower is 1,800 feet tall. You should be able to see only the top half of that and hardly any of the rest of Toronto. Can we see pretty much the whole skyline there? Again, you can check this out for yourself. You can get half a dozen of these pictures from various places all around this bay. Yeah, this is actually taken from the red lines there. It's actually Grimsby's here, so it's actually a little bit further than this red line. But you can get pictures from Toronto from all over this beach. Yeah, and you can see.
I'm not going to read that either,
Way
green
more
guy. Sorry, I almost said peep lord. Green guy. I'm not going to read that one either.
Should be. No, people say, oh, well, that's light refracting, bending it round the curve. It doesn't look like a mirage. I've seen mirages. They're inverted or they're wavy. We know what a mirage looks like. We can see it in the distance. 81 miles away from Genoa. It's the Isle of Gorgona. It's only 70 feet above sea level. We shouldn't be able to see anyone, or we should be able to see the tip of it. We can see most of the island. It should be behind 4,300 feet of curve. It should have curved away by now. We can still see it. We'll bring it closer.
Can I give you a clue about why I'm not reading these? We're so curious. Inappropriateness.
Back home. The island.
Or a joke that's so bad it makes me roll my eyes. In this case, inappropriateness.
From the File Coast, 61 miles away. And again, we can't just see the tops of the turbines. We can see virtually all of them. From 61 miles away, Snake Fell is 2,030 feet high, 2,034 feet high, so that's the highest point on the Isle of Man. 61 miles away should be 2,480 feet of curvature. Should be, half a mile below the horizon. From London, 75 miles away. Starts getting interesting when you start getting towards the 100-mile mark. We're talking over a mile of dip now. This is the Isle of Oahu. Taken from Kauai. Thank you.
You're not you can see in this photo how high above sea level you are. You're like up on a mountain, or at least a hill. We'll call it a hill.
It's 90 miles away. Again, you can see, apart from, whatever bit the waves are hiding, we can see a lot of that island. And here's the numbers for it. It should be behind 5,400 feet a drop. Its elevation is 4,003 feet, so we shouldn't even be able to see the tip of it. You can see nearly all of it. This is the Sierra Nevada range from Mount Diablo in California near San Francisco. It's 160 miles away. Yes, we're up a mountain. Yes, they're up a mountain. But we can see, again...
You even admitted, yes, we're up a mountain. Yeah, that's gonna affect it. Fennikagami says, me posting something sane Hannah will read to remind Hannah that some of her chat is somewhat normal. Thank you, Fennikagami.
A lot of the bottom of the mountains. You can see the snow-capped tops, and then we can see the rest of the mountains as well.
You're up very high on a mountain, and look at how high you are in this one. Jesus Christ.
60 miles away, this should be behind 17,000 feet of curve. Again, yes, you might be able to see the top of it, but not all of the mountains. And here's the Furthest one I found so far. This is my record so far. I'm sure.
I don't understand why you're so sure you're seeing the entirety of the mountain. How much of the base might be hidden that you can't see and aren't taking into account?
This is the reunion island from the Isle of Mauritius. It's 149 miles away. It's a long, long, long way away. And once again, we can see the peak, but we can also see most of the rest down. This is quite clearly a very, very good observational day. Very clear, very calm. The highest...
Your boy, or Yabo Yaster says, I think the reason this happens is they don't have an understanding of the sheer size of the Earth. Like, it's massive. There's not that much of a curve visible to the eye because of the sheer mass. Also, a lot of them get math incorrect because they get it from zetetic astronomy. And in zetetic astronomy, they list the equation for the curvature of the Earth as 8 inches per mile squared, which is inaccurate above a certain distance. That's actually for a parabola, not a sphere. And as you know, a parabola has a much steeper drop than a sphere. So they get their math wrong a lot because they're using the wrong formula.
This peak on Reunion Island is 3,072 meters tall. It's just under 2 miles. 149 miles away.
All right. I'm sick of the sea lioning, so goodbye, Die 2. See you later.
Everything should be behind 2.8 miles of curvature. Should have curved way, way away. And again, it's not just the tops we can see much more. We can see a lot more, 2,000 feet or so of that. We can see far more. That's what I'm saying about the Z-axis curve. It's not there. It's not there. If you watch a boat out to sea and then get a telescope on it, it'll come back into view again. Yeah, it's perspective, and it's obviously the limits of our eyesight, but it's also conditions as well, quite clearly. Yeah, heat, haze conditions, what have you. Visible conditions do check. But the point is that photographs have been taken. I've just shown you a dozen photographs from starting at 30 miles, 60 miles, 90 miles. Now we can see 150 miles in the distance, and it should well have disappeared behind the curve of the globe.
So you're gonna get onto a different topic because he just has a lot of photos and he just keeps saying the same thing about him.
But the
there we go.
flat places on Earth, everybody's aware. If you ever watch Top Gear, the Bonneville Salt Flats where everybody goes racing, but there's even bigger ones in South America. Is it Ethiopia? But the Saladillo in Bolivia. They're going for 4,000 square. They go for hundreds of thousands of square miles. Big flat places on Earth. Yeah, famously flatter than a pancake. The evidence is all around us.
The Earth is flat.
When they say flatter than a pancake, they're talking in terms of elevation. They're not talking about the curvature of the Earth.
And that is that. Don't overthink this thing.
Don't think too hard, otherwise you won't be a flat earther. Accidentally a revealing statement, methinks.
Necessary. Don't overthink this thing. It's not necessary.
Don't think too hard, you'll hurt yourself.
Primary knowledge or secondary knowledge? You're going to use your own senses, your own observances, your own experiments, hopefully, or you're going to believe what you've been told just because that's what everybody believes.
It's not this overly covert, psyop. What would be the point of that? To discredit the truth movement?
Green guy with the $3 tip. See, this one's funny. I'll read this one. Says, when I was a kid, I thought Chewbacca was Han Solo's pet, like a better farm dog, but for space travel. Is that okay? That's okay. I read that. That's a little funny.
If you look into Flat Earth for 3 hours, that you would realize that it's not a psyop. It's not a psyop.
I don't think it's a psyop. I think it's a lot of ignorant and confused people believing something for a lot of bad reasons.
Psyop of that magnitude that would ultimately bring the truth movement to its... Do you really think the truth movement is going to be brought to its knees anytime soon, given all the information? The same as with Flat Earth. Think about it.
So why? What have they got to gain? Why bother? Well, as far as I'm concerned, once you've done your research and if you come to the same conclusion that myself and thousands of others have done, It overthrows heliocentrism, overthrows the Big Bang, it overthrows evolution, overthrows everything we thought we knew about the world.
How in the world does it do anything about evolution? What are you talking about? How would flat Earth have anything to do with biology? These people are so confused. They don't even know what their own beliefs imply. Like, what are you talking about?
And I've heard people say that the reason they don't want to publish papers that disagree with special relativity or general relativity is that they built their careers on this. If you were paranoid, you'd say there's a conspiracy. Whatever it is, there is a lot of resistance to getting something published that disagrees with either of Einstein's two theories.
As for all of the photos and video evidence we now have that the Earth is round, well, all of that material is completely fabricated. A hoax perpetrated by space agencies, airlines, globe manufacturers. They are reaping the rewards of our ignorant belief that the Earth is actually round.
Guys, the fact that you can recreate something in a fake model doesn't mean that the original inherently is a fake model. Expressed this before, where a flat earther will be like, look, I can recreate this photo in Blender. And it's like, okay, the fact that you can recreate something doesn't mean that the original was done in the same way that you created it. Okay, the next is just text, so let's go to the next documentary. Yay! This one's called True World.
Everyone else, you were born into bondage. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage.
Oh, we're opening with the Morpheus clips. Classy.
Born into a prison for your mind.
Buckle your seatbelt, Dorothy, because
Kansas is going bye-bye. Thank you, Cypher. Midnight, thanks for 57 months, says Happy Pissmas Eve, everyone. It's very close, isn't it exciting?
You'll want to remember this moment as the last time you thought the flat earth was stupid.
Yikes.
Hello everyone, this is ODD, and yes, I'm finally admitting that even though I don't like labels, I'm a flat earther.
God, these partners.
Based on my research for the past 10 months, our world is very different from the model that we are...
Guys, this idiot on the internet did 10 months of research, and that's enough to overthrow the entire human understanding of where we live.
...being taught by the authority on the matter. It took me a while to come to terms with this, and it took even longer to gain the courage to talk about it. It can be pretty embarrassing to go against popular opinion, but this is real. It's not a psyop, it's not a distraction, and it's not a bandwagon. It's a reasonable debate. It's thousands of people taking what we've been told and comparing it to what we see and experience, only to find out that they do not match up. Once you start digging into this, it becomes clear that there is no evidence for the speculated spinning ball that we supposedly live on, and everything points to a flat Earth. The flat earth is much more than just reasonable. The one and only reason that it's reasonable to argue against the flat earth is that we've all been taught otherwise our whole lives.
You know, and all the evidence.
We blindly believe something that A, has never been proven, and
I don't understand this blindly believing thing. Does he think people don't think? I understand that by and large there's plenty of people that don't think about things, but like, he's saying no one thinks about this? Like, he thinks there's not a single person that questions things and goes like, no, actually this holds up when it comes to the shape of the Earth. Absolutely narcissistic that he believes that.
B is pretty much fucking impossible. Thanks to people like Eric Dubay, the flat earth has re-emerged and it has more steam than ever. Before I've ever even entertained the flat earth, I knew not to trust the space programs of the world.
Oh, so you were already a crackpot. I'm shocked.
Examinations of NASA and other space programs reveal that things aren't what they seem and that we, the people, are being lied to. We have no real pictures of the Earth, and no matter how hard we try, we just can't find the curvature. Not only that, but flight paths make more sense on a flat map, and large bodies of water
They do not.
are not being able to curve into a giant
They do curve.
ball completely.
Again, it's just lies. Flat Earth depends upon them just repeating incorrect information and hoping enough people internalize it and go, oh, that's true. Which is funny because that's what they're claiming round Earth people do, when in reality that's their modus operandi. You just repeat untrue, like, statements as axioms often enough that you get a community of people that believe them. It's like a cult.
Completely resonates.
Forensically speaking, the globe model is so very unlikely that any good detective wouldn't believe a fucking word the globe says. The globe's story is so full of circumstantial, impossible coincidences, which only prove that the globe is a fucking liar.
We'll be going over that in this video, as well as other reasons why the world isn't what we're led to believe. I appreciate you tuning in. Let's get started. Our daily observations of the Earth are consistent with a flat and stationary surface. Most, if not all, ancient civilizations knew that the Earth was flat. The people
Believed, and not all.
of today would say that ancient cultures were ignorant and unaware, yet they accomplished great feats that we still can't accomplish to this day.
We can build a pyramid. Behold! The Bass Pro Shop Pyramid! We can build a pyramid, you idiot.
The truth is that they had real knowledge, and some of us only have an education. But what is an education? Education is when you are told what to think and how to think.
Fennikagami says, to prove my point about how proving a lie has been told doesn't prove that what the lies were about. I've proven the Earth is flat. Okay, now prove that it's a single plane. The Earth could be a cube, pyramid, octagonal prism, cylinder, etc. There are tons of shapes the Earth could be if it's not a sphere. Some might work better than a plane. Proving it's not a sphere doesn't prove what it is. And H. Baird says, ducks unlimited. I guess that means they never run out of ducks to give.
Those that are able to remember and regurgitate what they've been told on command are considered well-educated. But there is a big difference between being educated and being intelligent. Just because you believe what you've been told doesn't...
Green Guy says, we got the $1,776 today. Well, I'm glad you got it.
doesn't make it true. In fact...
Didn't it come from housing stipend budgets? Anyway.
The flat versus spherical Earth is a debate that has never really died. It's been raging for centuries. It was a huge argument as recently as the early and mid-1900s, but with programs like NASA, founded in 1958, the latter half of the 20th century was a win for the spherical Earth. It wasn't a question for the average person anymore. Though at the time the shape of the Earth was still up to be proven, NASA claims that they went to the moon and captured a shot of the spherical Earth as if they always knew it was indeed spherical.
I'm sorry, are they acting as though we were confused about the shape of the Earth in the 1960s. Like, they're acting as though in the 60s people were walking around going like, I don't know what shape the Earth is. Like, I can show you footage from the 50s of a globe factory. Like, are you serious?
Those of you who think this technical difficulty was planned and think I'm scamming you, go do it for yourself. Because you're going to find the exact same thing. I got nothing to hide.
Oh, are they going to do the JPEG compression thing again?
Right here. This is live on the air, okay?
Yes.
I'm going to zoom in on the Earth.
JPEG compression. Oh, you can already kind of see the compression happening.
In Photoshop. Can you see the Earth? To image, adjust, levels. And I'm going to bring the levels over here. And
do I look like I know what a JPEG is?
Up. Uh-oh. What is that?
That is JPEG compression. This happens to every photo if it's compressed in a JPEG. There might be other file formats that also do it, but I know it happens with JPEGs. So it's actually very funny that he's doing this as if it's a mic drop moment. It just illustrates that he has no idea how this works. Fennick-Gami says, shocking, the corrupt president went through with the act of trying to buy the loyalty of the military. Honestly thought he'd forget to do it.
Why is there a square box around the Earth allegedly taken from the scientists on the moon in Apollo 17? And people...
Again, this isn't just this guy either. This is in this documentary. So, like, multiple people had to look at this, see it, and not for a second realize that this guy was full of shit.
Wonder why I don't trust NASA. That's why I don't trust NASA. I mean, they're always out there saying, you know, Rob, everybody's trying to show you stuff from space, and you keep rejecting it. This is why I reject it. These guys are liars. You know,
I would agree that it's why you reject it, and you reject it because you are overconfident and don't understand how anything works, and you see conspiracy everywhere where it doesn't exist.
Oh.
What are some of the basic observations someone can make to ascertain that the Earth is neither a globe or spinning?
We've been taught that we're on a ball spinning around the sun, and so to hear that
Green guy says, I retired on February 15th, so money's money, and yes, I think he might have renamed it and lowered the amount to skim off money off the 1.45 million military members. Classy.
You might be on a flat plane, motionless, at the center of the universe, with all the celestial bodies spinning around you, just as it appears, actually comes as a surprise. But it shouldn't, because our eyes, experience, and common sense all tell us that the horizon is perfectly flat, and we feel motionless. We don't hear ourselves whizzing by at thousands of miles per hour. No matter how high amateur rockets or balloons have gone up, the horizon rises to the eye of the observer all the way up, and that's only consistent.
Not when you get to space. Again, they really like to ignore, like, space travel. Like, any sort of rocketry, they just decide it doesn't exist, therefore they think they get to say, well, no one's been high enough to see the curvature, when you ignore all of the times that they have, and they choose to just call those ones fake. Flat eartherism is basically an exercise in cherry picking. You only pick stuff that, like, you decide it shows that you're right, and you ignore everything that says you're wrong, and that's how you construct the belief.
With a flat plane. Their theory just gets more and more wild as time has gone on. And so, yeah, it began with the spinning Earth going 1,000 miles per hour, which is then circling around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour, which then they decided the sun wasn't a heliocentric model, but more of an acentric model, where they don't know where the center is, and we're just exploding out of a big bang. So the sun, we're spinning around the sun, and then the sun and us are spinning around the Milky Way galaxy, they say, at 500,000 miles per hour. And then the entire Milky Way galaxy, they say, is shooting off from the Big Bang at 670 million miles per hour, almost the speed of light. So there's at least 4 rip-raging, contradictory motions supposedly.
They're not contradictory. Again, it's like any system more complex than like a certain amount and they just go, it's fake. They just throw their hands up and give up and go like, I don't know. It has to be fake. It's too complex. It's so frustrating.
Going at all times, yet you don't experience any of it, nor can you measure any of it using the stars. The flat motionless Earth is not only is it the greatest conspiracy of all, it's also the easiest to prove. I mean, it just is flat and motionless, just as it appears. Look into
it just is.
More and more, make it a thing to try and debunk it, if you will. You know, even if you want to do it that way. Negative reinforcement works too. Try as you will, you're only going to find proofs for the flat motionless Earth. You're
Is
not
it time for Pissmas yet?
going to confirm that you're on a spinning ball.
Reminder, if you didn't hear earlier, tomorrow is our once-a-year Pissmas stream. I earlier today gathered all the Pissmas videos. It was certainly something. You're welcome.
The curvature of the Earth eludes us. Either the Earth is much larger in circumference than we are told, or the curve just
What time? Noon Eastern. Starting at noon Eastern.
doesn't exist. People assume that there is a curve.
What should we leave out overnight for Pissmas? Asparagus.
But it's never really been proven beyond a reasonable doubt.
Mossloth with 40 bits says, I do think it's funny that they started calling it the Big Bang to make fun of the theory, but then it turned out to be our best actual bet on how things started.
Cameras with fisheye lenses, Hollywood movies, and NASA CGI are the closest we get to seeing curvature.
Except, you know, all the footage and video and pictures of the curvature that do exist that you ignore and call fake.
Deception and the lies are just so pervasive, and they're just so deep that I swear it gives me a headache.
The surface of water is always
Just a Peach says a sewing machine would blow their minds, let alone how sewing works.
level. This is just natural physics. We know this, that water, if unobstructed and uncontained, will flow outwards, finding it the easiest course to maintain its own level.
Level doesn't mean flat.
Right? So...
At least not in this context.
But the Ball Earth model claims that the oceans are huge 100-mile walls of curved water curving around the ball. That's ridiculous. They say that gravity makes this possible, but you don't see that. You go to the beach, you see a completely flat horizon, you see water just ever so gently coming up on the shore.
So there's the pretty blue marble that NASA claims we are living on, with circumference of 24,901. And
the Kitsune Cavalier says the horizon does not rise to the eye level. It only looks that way because as we increase our elevation, our eyes lower themselves to the horizon, and the difference is subtle. Sight the horizon with a level or a theodolite, and you'll measure an increasing downward angle as you increase your altitude. Sorry, I didn't know that word. That's rare for me.
3959 radius. So to find the curvature, you take 8 inches times your distance squared. That's 8 inches times your distance squared, and if you don't square the distance, you end up with this, and this is...
What, you don't even know what horizon at eye level means? They mean if you looked neutrally out, it would be in the center of your vision, basically. If you were to neutrally look straight out, it will always be right there. It's bullshit.
Not what NASA has
A
shown us.
theodolite is the thing surveyors use, I assumed.
They have given us a beautiful blue marble that we love. So you get 8 inches for 1 mile, 32 inches in 2 miles, 16.6 feet with 5 miles, so on and so forth. So what I did is I shot this pier, which is in Daytona Beach, Florida, and as you can see, between the water and the walkway of the pier is about 12 to 16 feet based on the height of the people and the railing. So I started at Granada, which is 4.92 miles away, and I shot this. And
theodolite, thank you, theodolite.
And based on that distance and the formula, there should be 16 feet of curvature, but obviously you can still see the entire gap under the walkway there between that and the water. So in addition to that, behind that pier is actually a lighthouse.
I think my favorite thing in the flat earth videos like this is you just are expected to trust that all their distances are correct, even though they're eyeballing things. And as we all know, flat earthers are historically terrible at gauging distance and size.
But you can see right above the pier, you can see the light. That is 16 miles away.
I actually couldn't see the light. I'll have to trust you on that one, I guess, because I do not see it.
Above the pier, you can see the light. That is 16...
Where? Like, unironically, is it the thing above the pink hat that's above the pier? Maybe? Question mark? I don't know.
Right above the pier, you can see the light. That is 16 miles away from my location. And I shot that lighthouse. Now that lighthouse is 175 feet tall, and the curvature from 16 miles away should be 170 feet. You can clearly see about the entire lighthouse beyond that pier. So like I said, there should be 170 feet of curvature, but there's none. And those hotels there are even further. Those are in New Smyrna, which is 20 miles. If NASA is right, and there is, we do live on a ball, they're going to have to make up that curvature. If it's not in the 20 miles I'm shooting, well, then that means it's got to be made up further on down the line. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say we live on this ball and then say, oh, you can't detect the curvature. Well, you got to detect it.
You can when you're the size we are. Again, it's detectable. It's just not detectable with your eyes.
Somewhere.
At ground level.
If it's not dropping here, it's going to have to drop even more down the lines in order to make that circle, that ball they say we live on. And it's pretty round. That blue marble they give us is perfectly round.
Lighthouses are one great example. The Isle of Wight Lighthouse in England, it's 180 feet high and can be seen up to 42 miles away, a distance at which modern astronomers...
I guess I don't understand why they think we build lighthouses so tall if there isn't curvature. Because part of the reason we build lighthouses as tall as we do is because the higher up it is, the further away you can see it. Right? So why do they think we don't build lighthouses just on the ground? It'd be just as good if the Earth was flat, right? So why do we build lighthouses as towers? I'm confused why they think that. Fennikagami says, these people on combustion engines, can you believe they're trying to hide God by lying to us about how our cars work? They want us to believe tiny explosions are moving our cars when we all know it's God and the power of prayer using the holy water that is gasoline. Bullet Bill says, have you seen the fallout from the final experiment? Some of it, I know Jeranism left, Flat Earth, and a bunch of other flat earthers are pissed off at him about it. I know that they were blaming, all sorts of things on the final experiments, claiming it was CG, claiming that they filmed it in a studio secretly, but I don't know if there's anything beyond that.
Astronomers say the light should fall 996 feet below the line of sight. Why can you still see it? Another one worth mentioning that people be familiar with is the Statue of Liberty. It stands 326 feet above sea level, and on a clear day can be seen as far as 60 miles away. Now, if the Earth was a globe at the dimensions that they give us, that would put Lady Liberty at an impossible 2,074 feet below the horizon.
No, not one picture of the Earth. Imagine that.
Another lie. There are plenty of pictures of the Earth. Many of them are composite pictures, but not all of them. There are photos of the Earth that are non-composites, but even those that are composite photos, like the one we're seeing right now, isn't a fake photo any more than a panoramic photo is fake because it's stitched together from multiple images.
2016, and we still don't have a picture of our home. Thousands of satellites supposedly orbiting the Earth. Why can't we get thousands of pictures? One shot with the whole Earth in it. Hell, we should have a
There have been plenty, and you call them fake. This is, again, it's such a frustrating taxonomical, like, like, punch in the face whenever this happens, because there are plenty of photos of the Earth in its totality. But anytime you show one of these to these people, they say it's fake. And they go, there are no real photos of the Earth. And then you show them one, they go, that's fake. And every time you try to show them a new photo, it goes in the fake pile. You can show them 10 trillion pieces of evidence, and it just becomes evidence that actually the conspiracy is true, because look how many pieces of fake evidence they had to produce to try and dissuade us from our big brain flat eartherism. Like, it's crazy. It's insanity.
Channel on cable that shows the Earth rotating 24 hours a day, every day. Nope. Let's listen to NASA's very own Robert Simon talk about how we get our fake pictures of Earth.
In 1972, we saw our home in a new way. Apollo 17 astronauts snapped this picture.
It gave people the first look at their home planet as a single entity.
Last week, scientists at NASA released this. The shot is compiled from data from NASA's VEERS instrument, which orbits the Earth about every 100 minutes, taking measurements of light coming off the planet. That can be translated into ribbons of imagery like this, and then into one of these. And this is just the latest in NASA's Earth from Space album, which may be one of the most mind-expanding collections of images in human history. Then in 2002, Blue Marble 2.0, NASA's Rob Simon made this. Simon's job is...
It's primarily taking data and making pictures out of it.
That's what this is, a composite of data sets from several different instruments translated into a picture.
So we actually had to take clouds out.
They stashed the clouds for later, went onto the ocean. That came from an instrument that measures phytoplankton in the sea.
Where it was low, I colored it dark blue because they're low mostly in mid-oceans. And then where it was a little bit higher, it was like a little bit brighter green.
Then add the clouds back in.
There's a small problem with it because there's a very slight gap in between each orbit.
So some of those are painted on.
It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
Then
there was another layer to sort of simulate the atmosphere.
And then there's this little bright spot.
It's called the specular highlight. So it's the reflection of sunlight off of water.
Those are the pieces, but you can't just slap them all together.
It just didn't look realistic. It looks kind of flat, or the clouds are sort of too see-through. So I just hit Command-Z a lot.
There's artistry to creating the world.
What I imagine it to be. Unfortunately, I'm not an astronaut.
I find it funny because they're showing this presumably to try and make you go, oh, they faked it. But none of what he said implies they faked it. He took a bunch of data from a bunch of different sensors and was able to put them together to give you an idea of what the Earth looks like. Like, that's not fraud. Again, this is actually interesting, and I'd like to hear more from whatever podcast that was a part of, because it sounded pretty interesting, to be honest. But they think this is fraud. You're not allowed to composite different information together to create an image that shows us what the Earth is like. That's fraud! It's kind of funny.
I've never been to space, but I've looked at these images over and over again, trying to sort of get the essence of it. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped.
He's talking about the nature of its composite. It's made of composites of different data sets. So that's what he's talking about. Very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. I can't say what I want to say because I'm on Twitch and I'm not allowed to say what I want to say on Twitch, but flat earthers are making me very angry.
But it's
just a peach with a tip says, look at the lighthouse. I don't think that, took a look at the lighthouse. I don't think he calculated in the hill under the lighthouse. Oh, probably not.
Has to be.
Excuse me, I'm allergic to bullshit. Not having one authentic...
Wow, having an autoimmune condition must be very frustrating for you.
...picture of the...
That was a pretty good joke.
Earth alone is a huge red flag.
Christoph, let me ask you, why do you think that Truman has never come close to discovering the true nature of his world until now?
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
Have you guys seen The Truman Show? I saw The Truman Show and I decided the Earth was flat. Have you seen The Truman Show? That's what these people sound like to me.
The flat Earth model is a working model. It's by no means definitive due to the nature of this massive cover-up. For the past 500 years, we've been completely buying into the Copernicus heliocentric model, but what we do know about the flat Earth is based on the azimuthal equidistant map that seems to be working out. This map goes as far back as the year 1000 and possibly earlier, now used as an official map by the U.S. Geological Survey and also as the official logo for the United Nations. Is this our real home being hidden from us in plain sight?
No, it's a map used for a very specific purpose. I don't remember what it is, but different models, or rather, sorry, different projections of maps have different purposes. This is just as much a real map of the Earth as the typical one you see. The Mercator projection, right? They both have their own inaccuracies because they're models, right? It's not a globe. If you want to get the actual dimensions correct, you would have to do it in 3D because the real thing is in 3D. So it's always a projection, right? What really matters is what you need to use it for because it's a tool. It's not trying to say one is more or less accurate. It depends on what you're looking for in terms of accuracy.
I think it is.
Like, some maps are better at showing size correctly, some are better at showing distance correctly, some are better at showing the angle between different places correctly. It just depends on what you need to use it for as a tool.
The first thing a lot of people say is, where's the edge? Well, look at this map where Antarctica is a 360-degree ice barrier that holds the water in. These ice walls...
That's not what it's showing. That's Antarctica being stretched out, because again, it's a projection, and that projection is going to have some things that aren't so accurate to the reality of the situation. In this case, the azimuthal equidistant map, the further you get away from the North Pole, the weirder it gets and the more stretched out it gets, to the point where once you get to Antarctica, it's no longer a consolidated continent on the bottom of the globe. It's this weird stretched out thing. Again, this map is not saying that this is literally what the Earth looks like. They are not saying when they made this map that this is a ring. This is just how this projection works. Again, I think this one is used to determine your angle of, like, angle compared to the North Pole or something. I think H-Bomber Guy talked about in his Flat Earth video. I don't remember, though. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Walls are real, and they stand 150 feet above the surface of the water. Then you need to understand that there is no independent access to Antarctica. Average people can only...
Oh, this is much funnier since the final experiment happened. There is private access to Antarctica. You can go, people go, it happens. It did happen. Jaren, who might be in this video, literally went and is no longer a flat earther. So suck it.
go there on a guided tour. It has no towns, no cities, and...
Oh, speaking of... Sorry, suck it made me think of the Attitude Era. Did you guys hear that Mick Foley told the WWE to go fuck themselves? At least currently during the Trump administration. Pretty funny. Pretty good stuff. Good job, Mick Foley.
Nope.
Sorry you got thrown off the cage at Hell in a Cell.
Permanent
by The Undertaker.
Residences. What's past the 150-foot ice wall is anyone's guess. How far the ice extends, how it terminates, and what exists beyond it. The Antarctic...
Remember that time that Mankind beat up fake Mankind at Universal Studios? That was great.
Treaty, signed in 1959 by 12 nations and more later on, states that Antarctica is for peaceful purposes only. No military activities, just scientific research and government exploration. Expeditions by any party must be discussed in advance. It's the longest and most successful treaty between nations. The treaty also states that there are ships, stations, and equipment to ensure compliance of the treaty. Sounds like military activity to me. Anyway. So this azimuthal equidistant map appears to be correct for the most part.
No, I mean, it depends on what you mean. Like, what do you mean by correct? It's correct at what it's trying to illustrate. It is not correct in the literal sense that that is what the Earth looks like. It's not.
Over the centuries, there's been other maps that look pretty close to it as well. Let's look at an interesting story that was recently in the news that supports this flat map. A woman gave birth on a flight from Bali to Los Angeles, so the flight made an emergency landing in Alaska. Here's what it would look like on a globe.
Except it's not on a globe. Literally right now you're showing a flat map. This is the problem. On, how do I explain this? On a flat map of the world, flight paths don't look right because, again, the reality of the situation is not a flat plane, so you do what's called great circles. If you've ever seen a flight map and notice that it's in a curve, that's why, because it's a straight line, but when you project that straight line on the globe onto a flat map, it turns the straight line into a curve, right? So it might look weird on a flat map, but I promise you they are taking the closest, the quickest path that they can given their position. It just looks weird when you project that line onto a flat map because, again, the Earth isn't flat, so the actual projection looks strange. Thank you, Tina, for the raid. Welcome, raiders. We're looking at some flat Earth stuff today, laughing at it, debunking it, whatever. Having a good time. Check out Tina, too, here on Twitch. Could I, in chat, get a link to Tina's channel, please? How you doing, Tina? Hope you had a good stream.
Now, here's what it would look like on a flat Earth. Which one makes more sense?
Except that's not a flat Earth map. That's the azimuthal equidistant map, which is a projection of the globe.
Exactly. A big issue I was having with the flat Earth for the longest time was the sunrise and sunsets. I realized that it was a perspective issue. First, you must understand that the sun is not 93 million miles away. If it was, we would never see anything like this here. This is concentrated because it's closer. It's much more probable that the sun is only a few thousand miles away and that it's the same size as the moon.
You know, except for all the evidence that it's not that.
Once you comprehend this...
Like, do they think we haven't checked out where the sun is? It's kind of important.
All of the sudden...
Oh, you were monitoring the Epstein release? Well, that sounds not very fun. Welcome to something slightly more fun, I guess? Question mark?
Solar eclipses make sense.
Holy fucking shit! Something that makes sense.
Okay, so the sun is close, which gives it the ability to spotlight the area that it's over, and when it leaves your view, due to perspective, it takes the light with it. There is a generous amount of light where the sun is at, but since it's so close, it doesn't spread its light like it would if it were bigger and further. The sun circumnavigates the Earth like a huge clockwork. Sometimes that takes a while to sink in. Alright, let's talk about the Coriolis effect. The Coriolis effect states that when a moving object leaves the ground, the Earth continues to rotate, meaning that when shooting a gun at a certain distance, the bullet would be a little off due to the Earth's rotation. If that's the case, then airplanes would have to account for the Coriolis effect, but they don't. This is only a few things that work better on a flat, motionless Earth. Do you need 100 excuses as to why you're not feeling any motion or seeing any curvature?
I can literally explain those things to you, and it's not an excuse, it's an explanation. Conservation of momentum, holy shit, that's an easy one. The second one I explained earlier with the size difference. You're too close to the Earth's surface and too tiny to see the curvature with your bare eyes.
Are those excuses easier to believe? Or is it easier?
I mean, they're factual.
Easier to use Occam's razor and go with what our senses are telling us. The Earth.
Your senses are flawed, which is why we check and try to falsify the beliefs that we have to make sure that we're actually believing them for good reasons and not for bad ones.
Is flat and not spinning.
Trey says, actually no, because bullets have significantly less mass than a plane and therefore retain their momentum from the time they spent on the ground much easier. The less mass you have, the easier it is for you to lose that momentum. Thank you, Trey. That makes a ton of sense.
Now, real quick, let's kind of just explain the Coriolis effect in layman's terms. The Coriolis effect is the effect that when the bullet leaves the barrel of the gun, it is actually leaving the surface of the Earth. So as the bullet leaves the barrel of the gun, the Earth is still rotating, and the bullet is not rotating with the Earth. So the Earth will actually rotate out from underneath of the bullet while it is in flight.
No, it wouldn't. Just writing it doesn't make it true. It's like they have a thought and they go, oh, that must be true. They wrote the Earth doesn't spin on the airplane. We got them. We wrote it on the 3D model. They can't debunk that. I think it's Flight Simulator of some kind. I'm not sure what, though. At least the earlier stuff that they showed. I don't know about this. Is outer space real? What a question.
This one is a touchy subject. This whole fucking video is a touchy subject. So anyway, this one's hard to get across to people big time. But outer space is up for debate. Space
What if it's not? What if you're just an asshole?
Programs are compartmentalized, and most astronauts are Freemasons that have to swear an oath.
But it's not true. Most astronauts are Freemasons. What an insane statement to make without a citation of any sort. Like, do you think he's ever even looked into this, or did his brain just go, they're all Freemasons, man. All astronauts are Freemasons. And he went, that's true. Like, that's just objectively not true that all astronauts are Freemasons. Holy shit.
Of secrecy when dealing with the so-called missions. The thing is that there is so much footage of NASA and other space agencies making mistakes. Sometimes we could see bubbles in the spacewalks. Sometimes
they're not bubbles. I've talked about this before too. They're ice crystals. This is a thing that happens. Ice crystals form on the skin of the ISS and some of the equipment, and they can get knocked off, and they float away, and against the black background of space, they look a little weird, and people go, what are those? Flat earthers have decided they're bubbles. Incorrectly.
We could see harnesses and wires on the people in the International Space Station. The permed hair that moves nothing like it would in zero gravity.
This guy's an expert on what hair would look like in zero gravity, even though he doesn't believe zero gravity conditions exist anywhere in the universe.
Space station.
Like, what does he even mean by that? Like, why does he think he knows what a zero gravity hair would look like intuitively? That's so interesting to me. Like, what does he even mean? He doesn't think gravity exists. He thinks it's all buoyancy and density. So what does he think it would even look like?
The permed hair that moves nothing like it would in zero gravity.
Also, you can tell that he's never had long hair because the way they talk about it and how it moves in space is so funny.
These are huge red flags. Not to mention the Van Allen radiation belt.
And also that's true. Sometimes they are chips of paint, not just ice.
Van Allen radiation belt is a layer of energetic charged particles that is held in place around a magnetized planet such as Earth by the planet's magnetic field. Sounds kind of like a dome if there is one. Oddly enough,
what?
one of NASA's employees admitted that this radiation belt needs to be figured out before humans could pass through it. Listen closely.
As we get further away from Earth, we'll pass through the Van Allen belts, an area of dangerous radiation. Radiation like this could harm the guidance systems, onboard computers, or other electronics on Orion. Naturally, we have to pass through this danger zone twice, once up and once back.
Let me guess, they're going to say, why didn't we have to deal with this in the 60s, in the 70s, when we were doing our moon landings? And it would be because the computer systems we were using back then were entirely different and not subject to the same conditions that would make them malfunction like ones currently. I would imagine the radiation is going to be more impactful on current devices than it would have been on old devices, or at least to some extent. I don't know, though. Fennikagami says, parabolic planes prove these people wrong. Also, your point about Foley reminded me of a point about how John Cena has to give a cut of his royalties to WWE for the rest of his life because they own his name, and corporate suck-ups claim, well, Cena says he's fine with it, like they can't grasp that maybe he doesn't get a choice. They actively refuse to believe employees lie about how they feel about employers, like battered wife syndrome isn't a thing. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I didn't know that.
But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation. Sensors aboard will record radiation levels for scientists to study. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
Let's talk about satellites. We've already discussed how there are no pictures of the Earth, so are satellites even real? Not likely. Ground towers are built all over the world and are more than adequate to relay our television, radio, and cell phone service.
Unless it's satellite TV or satellite internet, which are not done through wires. Like, how does he think satellite TV works? Probably the balloon thing. All
GPS is done through land-based towers, and things like Google Earth are taken with high-altitude planes, and most of them are just done with cars on
H-Baird with 40 bits says, there's also the issue that they don't understand how radiation shielding works back then and got lucky that the sun never fried any astronauts. The method of shielding in the 60s and 70s would have made things worse.
Street level. Did you know that satellites were actually invented by Arthur C. Clarke, the science fiction author?
I didn't know that.
they shortly became science fact after that.
Presumably they mean artificial satellites.
Geostationary satellite, look it up. It was created by a science fiction author. And then within...
Okay, I don't know if that's the first mention of an artificial satellite anywhere, but plenty of real-world scientific advancements are precluded. Precluded, is that the word? Anyway, before a lot of scientific advances, they'll be prognosticated in some way by science fiction authors. That happens all the time.
In a decade, NASA claims to have sent a real one up there.
Predicted, thank you. Wow. Words are hard today.
And ever since then, that's where we get all our communications from.
So if satellites were real, we would constantly hear stories of them being hit by meteors or comets, and that doesn't happen.
How common do you think meteors and comets getting that close to Earth is? Jesus Christ. He's got a completely nonsense view of how space works.
No one's ever lost their direct TV feed during the Perseids meteor shower because one of the meteors knocked out one of the satellites. Doesn't happen, it's never happened. And
again, do you know how big space is? Oh my god.
What happened? And that to me tells me there is no satellites. You would constantly be worried.
This isn't Jaren, is it?
About them, and you would constantly hear about them.
It is Jaren! That's funny. This guy isn't a flat earther anymore. He went on that. I mentioned it earlier in the stream. He's the one that went to Antarctica during the final experiment thing and became not a flat earther anymore.
Having something happen, and it's so rare that you hear that.
So you may or may not have heard the term cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is when new information challenges your beliefs and you just can't let go. It's just like that.
That is not the definition of cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is when you're holding two ideas in your head that are contradictory and it causes you distress. Usually you end up resolving cognitive dissonance in some way by either choosing one or the other or having some sort of rationalization that allows you to hold both beliefs at the same time. But yeah, that's a bad definition of cognitive dissonance.
Scene in The Matrix.
No. I don't believe it. It's not possible. Stop. Let me out. Let me out. I want out.
We have a rule. We never free a
Green Guy with a $3 tip says, me and the wife used to watch Flat Earth debunkers 2 years ago, and the spacesuits actually sweat out water and it freezes. Rivers are affected by the Coriolis effect, tested in huge sand and water experiment labs, causing rivers to curve more. Oh, neat.
mind once it's reached a certain age.
What happened to my soundboard? I still have it, I just haven't used it a lot today or yesterday. Here's one for you.
So anyway, I just came out at Wendy's, and there was 8, I shit you not, 8 homosexuals there having lunch.
You can have this one for free, too.
There's nothing down my pants, boys and girls.
There you go.
It's not easy going through this kind of deception and then realizing that your whole life was spent thinking and believing one thing when it's the opposite. Nobody wants to feel like they've been fooled, like they've been had. I'm a human just like you, and I never would have thought in my wildest dreams that I'd be on this kind of journey. This journey of realization and reckoning. This journey of putting everything I know to the side so I can absorb information that seems ridiculous, yet so sensible. It's time to say fuck it. It's not your fault that you were wrong. It's not your fault that you fell for a trick that the whole world also fell for. I'm right here with you. It's time to take down your mental barrier and recognize that we have a lot of work to do in order to find out what this place really is and why we're here. It's not to be slaves of the dollar. It's not.
Nemesaur says, I once calculated how much space all satellites would occupy if you spread them out evenly across the surface of the Earth. I think it came out to something like 2 in all of Rhode Island. Yeah, that's plenty of distance. Holy shit.
Not to be slaves.
I know Rhode Island is a tiny state, but, like, it's still a state.
Slaves of the clock. Our reality is being manipulated and hidden from us. Please wake up and try to awaken those around you. So how did this happen? Okay, let's start in the classroom. The first time anybody enters a school classroom, they are introduced to the globe model of the Earth. This 3-dimensional scale model of the Earth that has never been proven was invented in the 1400s.
It's been proven. We've been to space, you dick.
It's
never been proven, and I wrote it, so that's true. Ugh, that's what you sound like.
Fast forward to 1927, a big budget movie company called Universal Pictures came out with its movie intro, and guess what? The spinning ball Earth still hasn't been proven. This is 30 years before.
It's not been proven. It's not been proven, guys. It's not proven.
Before NASA was founded.
If he repeats it enough, it'll definitely be true.
Over the years, Universal kept coming out with similar logo intros, and to this day, we see the spinning ball Earth before many of the movies that we watch. Besides, there are countless movies about outer space that use the same model. We have been indoctrinated, and it's as simple as...
Do you think that maybe they use the same model because that's actually what the Earth looks like and it's not a conspiracy?
That. For the spherical Earth to remain unproven after this long is a wake-up call to...
It's not been not proven, you just don't accept the evidence. Like, I really don't know what to tell you, man. Let me fix these real quick. Oh, that's still too long. Okay.
Everybody that lives here. We need to shed this programming right here, right now, and find out what the fuck is going on.
What the fuck is going on? I'm gonna put images of They Live to prove I didn't understand They Live.
No more embracing this sick illusion that was created by psychopaths. I'm going to keep searching for answers and trying to make something happen. All I want to know is, who's coming with me?
All right, everyone, come on, let's do the thing. Oh, that's unfortunate. Don't use the Goonies like that, you fuck. That wasn't even well done. Why would it say obey at the bottom if it's not through the glasses? You would need it so the glasses are so it shows the obey through the glasses, because it should say hope outside of the glasses if this was consistent. Jesus Christ. Orion Cooper with a $2 super chat says, ironically, Flurfs really have been indoctrinated. Yeah, they have. Goonies never say flat Earth. Steve with a Q says, well, science fiction is sometimes predictive. It's important to note that it's often way off. Paul Anderson's Harvest of the Stars series, which starts with the U.S. having been taken over by authoritarian theocrats, ends with humanity dependent on technology and ruled by AI. Totally unrealistic.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
I like to be an explorer.
Is he gonna talk anymore, or is it just a montage?
That's stationary.
These are good ways, like...
Okay, just a montage. Let's see what's next. Ooh, Flat Earth and Project Bluebeam.
In the 1980s, President Ronald Reagan gave a series of speeches basically saying that people of the Earth would unite if faced by an out-of-this-world alien threat.
Was it a series of speeches? I've seen the clip where he says it, but okay, they do show multiple clips, so it may be mentioned it in a series of speeches. Fair enough.
Couldn't help but say to him, just think how easy his task and mine might be in these meetings that we held if suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species, from another planet, outside in the universe. We'd forget all the little local differences that we have between our countries, and we would find out once and for all that we really are
Steve.
all human beings here on this earth together. In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound.
Look, I'm the biggest Reagan hater there is, but literally he's just making a salient point about the fact that human infighting is incredibly stupid and pointless and self-defeating. You don't have to shit on him for this. It's one thing he said that's not untrue. You can hate Reagan still. In fact, you should.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
At the time, nobody knew exactly what he meant, but they thought that he meant well.
What do you mean no one knew exactly what he meant? It's perfectly clear what he means. What are you talking about? It's a hypothetical expressing how petty our human disagreements are. Holy shit. Are you that ignorant and that, like, illiterate to not understand what he was just saying? Like, do you think at all? What do words mean to you?
It wasn't until the 1990s when George...
Oh my god, he's gonna say the New World Order thing.
George H.W. Bush started to push the New World Order...
Called it.
...to the public, that people began to understand...
When George H.W. Bush was talking about a New World Order, he was talking about a capitalist, neoliberal global civilization in the wake of the collapse of the Soviet Union. He was not talking about your conspiracy shit. Oh my god.
And the unity that Ronald Reagan spoke about.
Out of these troubled times, our fifth objective, a new world order, can emerge. We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order. It is a big idea, a new world order. Such is a world worthy of our children's future.
Yes, American hegemony is basically what he's talking about, yes.
A world in which there is the very real prospect of a new world order. And that's why I wanted to speak to you today about the new world taking shape around us, about the prospects for a new world order now within our reach. I'll be talking in some detail about the possibility of a new world order, the quest for the new world order. New world order. The new world order really is a tool for addressing a new world of possibilities.
It wasn't exactly the kind of unity that would benefit the masses, but the elite, as they would have us united under the control of a one-world government, a one-world religion, a one-world...
When did anyone bring up religion? You are projecting something onto this scenario which was not brought up at all. What are you talking about?
Everything. So we have a solid connection between the New World Order and an alien invasion, especially since George H.W. Bush was vice president to Reagan and his successor. It even goes in order. Alien invasion, New World Order. Alien invasion, New World Order.
If suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species, from another planet, outside in the universe.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat.
It is a big idea.
You're just gonna show it again?
A new world order.
Let's fast forward to more recent events where we are seeing the alien agenda escalate more than ever. 2014, Bill Clinton talks about aliens on Jimmy Kimmel.
Take a quick break, but when we come back, I hope you will indulge me in something, because I want to ask you about...
Rick M. says, normally I don't agree with most of what flurfs or tinfoil hatters say, but one thing I can wholeheartedly agree with, I agree with them when they say I don't know. I agree that they really don't know. True.
Your access to the files on the UFOs, okay? President Clinton is here with us. We'll be right back. President Bill Clinton is here with us, so if I was president, and I won't be, let's be honest, the first thing I would do after putting my hand on that Bible and taking that oath to serve...
Yes, also fuck Bill Clinton.
The country...
You know what? That's fair. We gave Reagan some hate. Let's give Bill Clinton some hate. Fuck you, Bill Clinton. Also bad. Yikes.
I wouldn't even probably finish the oath. I would run to the White House. I demand to see all the classified files on the UFOs. Because I want to know. I'd want to know what has been going on. Did you do that?
Sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah, we had, I think it was at the beginning of my second term, we had the anniversary of Roswell.
You waited that long?
I did.
Wow.
Well, I didn't. And then there's also Area 51. You remember there was a great sci-fi movie where there was an alien kept deep under the ground in Area 51? So first I had people go look at the records on Area 51 to make sure there was no alien down there. And people thought that because everybody who works there has to stop about an hour away and put on special clothing and then drive in and out. And that's because a lot of our stealth technology is made there. We know that now, but there are no aliens there. So then when the Roswell thing came up, I knew we'd get, gazillions of letters. So I had all the Roswell papers.
Yeah, he was talking about Independence Day.
Well, I think, look, what do we know? We know now we live in an ever-expanding universe. We know that there are billions of stars and planets literally out there, and the universe is getting bigger. We know from our fancy telescopes that just in the last 2 years, more than 20 planets have been identified outside our solar system that seem to be far enough away from their suns and dense enough that they might be able to support some form of life. So it makes it increasingly less likely that they might be able to support some form of life. So it makes it increasingly less likely that we're alone.
Oh, you're trying to give me a hint that there are aliens.
No, I'm trying to tell you I don't know.
You're trying to give me a hint that there are aliens.
No, I'm trying to tell you I don't know.
Oh.
But if we were visited someday, I wouldn't be surprised. I just hope that it's not like Independence Day.
Yeah, right.
That it's a conflict.
Well, now we have friendly
Maybe the only way to unite this incredibly.
What point do they think they're making? They think that this is theater. They think that it's predictive programming. They think it's priming the American public to be ready for some sort of alien invasion.
Divided world of ours.
But they think the invasion is fake and that the government is going to do a fake alien invasion in order to justify a power grab.
They're out there, we better think of how all the differences among people on Earth would seem small if we felt threatened by a space invader. That's the whole theory of independence.
You're right.
Everybody gets together and makes nice and, you know.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat.
2015, Barack Obama talks about aliens on Jimmy Kimmel.
This is something I feel like, if I was the president, and it's unlikely that that is ever going to happen. You never know. If I was the president...
Reusing the same jokes. Jesus Christ. You use the same jokes on every president? God damn.
It was unlikely that I was going to be president.
The moment I was inaugurated, my hand would just, it'd still be hot from touching the Bible, and I would immediately race to wherever they have the files about Area 51 and UFOs.
Oh my God, they're this is just the same bit. They're just reusing the same bit with a different president. That's so lazy.
And I go through everything to find out what happened. Did you do that?
That's why you will not be president. Because that's the first thing that you would do. The aliens won't let it happen. You reveal all their secrets. They exercise strict control over us.
Now, you know, there are a lot of people that are going to examine your facial expressions here, every twitch, everything, and say, and of course, so did you look? Did you see? Did you explore?
I can't reveal anything.
Oh, really? Because President Clinton said he did go right in, and he did check, and there was nothing.
Well, you know, that's what we're instructed to say.
All right.
I have problems with Obama, but he was funny.
2016, Hillary Clinton talks about aliens on Jimmy Kimmel.
When we had your husband, President Clinton, on...
Jesus, are they going to use the same bit again? Jesus Christ. H-Baird with 40 bits says, just think about how the disagreements of the world would seem small and insignificant if we were faced with a worldwide threat like a disease. Then we'd put our differences aside and work together. Oh, wait. If the aliens make us their pets, do you think I'll get a bed with your name on it? I hope so.
On the show,
I hope the human pet food is good. I hope it tastes like cheeseburgers.
He said, I asked him about UFOs and Area 51, and if you...
There's actually a whole... Nope. Never mind. Nothing. Never mind.
He looked in, because if I was president, that's the first thing I do. I go right into those files and see what was going on.
Right.
And he said that he did do that.
Yes.
And that he didn't find anything.
Well, I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah, why not?
Right? And you know, there's a new name. It's unexplained aerial phenomenon.
Unexplained aerial phenomenon,
Yep,
really?
Yep, UAP. That's the latest nomenclature.
I like the old one. I like UFO. I don't know why.
Well, I think we can use them interchangeably, but I would like us to go into those files and hopefully make as much of that public as possible. If there's nothing there, let's tell people there's nothing there.
What if there is something there?
Well, if there is something there, unless it's a threat to national security, I think we ought to share it with the public.
Well, what if everybody's all hopped up on medical marijuana and everybody gets paranoid? I would love it.
That's why I want more research.
If you share it with me, I'll decide what is the best course of action. I really have my ear to the ground.
Well, I'm more than happy to do that.
What do you think the timeline is like right now where Hillary Clinton won the 2016 election? You think things are going okay over there? Probably better than currently. Not great, because Hillary Clinton still was like, not the best, but like, certainly not this bad, right?
In my line of work, you got to keep repeating things over and over and over again for the truth to sink in, to kind of catapult the propaganda.
So you see, what used to pass for a tinfoil hat theory is now being pushed by the mainstream and accepted on a wide scale. In fact, the popular theoretical physicist Michio Kaku seems to be a pawn for programming the masses with the belief in aliens.
A crisis of leadership. We've been talking about this
My arch nemesis, Michio Kaku.
all week. But what if there was some sort of outer space crisis? An alien invasion sounds crazy, perhaps, but then who thought we'd ever see the stock market swing 5% a day all week long? So maybe it's not as far-fetched as it sounds. If aliens invaded, who would step up to lead us in that fight, and could we even win? That's just one of the questions the Discovery Channel's new series,
Where's Michio?
Curiosity, looks at. Joining me now is physics professor Michio Kaku, who is a consultant for the
Kaku.
series. Professor, welcome. The biggest question before we get any invasion is, do aliens even exist, and how would we know?
Well, the Kepler satellite currently orbiting in outer space has identified about 50 planets that seem very much Earth-like. In fact, every week we discover another.
What's the point of this whole nonsense? Basically, they think that the United States government, as well as the governments of the world, are going to use holographic technology to fake an alien invasion in order to justify a power grab to create a one-world government. That took a lot of breath.
The Jupiter-sized planet in outer space. Now, to be sure, most of them probably have no more than microbial life, just germs. But a few of them may have intelligent life, perhaps even more advanced than what we have on Earth.
Now, so how does this actually work? When Discovery decided they were going to do a show on alien invasions, your phone rings because you're on the sort of speed dial for theoretical physicists who can help them do the war game for how this might play out?
Well, believe it or not, we physicists have actually studied the question of what happens if we do encounter a hostile advanced civilization in space.
Open your mind to the possibility that one day we will make contact with an intelligent civilization in outer space that could be thousands, millions of years ahead of us in technology.
The Kepler satellite has identified 2,000 planets orbiting other star systems. So tonight, when you look at the night sky, realize that somebody could be looking back at you. Now, if there is a life form out there, they could be literally millions of years ahead of us. The universe is 13.7 billion years old, so a million years is nothing compared to the age of the universe.
I mean, we have nothing to offer them.
Are we going to get answers in our lifetime about this?
Well, next we're going to focus our radio telescopes to see whether we can eavesdrop on their I Love Lucy. Maybe they too have, Leave It to Beaver and TV shows like that. So we're going to focus our radio efforts now on this star to see whether there's any regular radio emissions from that planet.
Why is Michio my nemesis? It's just a joke I have. But also, he's how do I put this? He's the kind of pop science figure that gets brought up by conspiracy theorists a lot. So that's mostly why. He's like B tier Neil deGrasse Tyson for conspiracy theorists. They bring him up a lot. And I just find that funny. Also, he pushed string theory a lot in the early 2000s. I don't know if he still does, but he used to. A lot. It was like his whole thing was he was string theory guy.
Oh, it's so exciting. Michio, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
The big question of, do you think there's intelligent life elsewhere out there? Do you think there is? And if there is, do you think it's visited us before?
Well, the big question is there intelligent life on the Earth? And I think not, by looking at the presidential debates. However, we have to look at the fact that just this week, NASA released the fact that 1,200 planets were discovered by the Kepler satellite just this past week.
We always learned in school that there were 9 planets if you wanted to include Pluto.
Yes, if you did or if you didn't want to. But with all the newfangled telescopes out there and in space,
newfangled
discoveries seem to keep coming. So Linda Schmidt tells us about NASA's biggest haul yet.
NASA's Kepler Space Telescope has made a groundbreaking discovery, 1,284 new planets. This NASA animation shows that it is the single largest collection of planets that have ever been found.
I think it's really exciting to find that when you look up in the stars, at the stars at night, many of those stars have planets just like our solar system. And now we know that for sure.
And so we now know that perhaps there are 1 billion Earth-like planets in our backyard, the Milky Way galaxy. Go out tonight and have an existential shock, looking at the night sky, realizing that there are probably 1 billion planets that are Earth-like.
I think I only had to memorize 8 of them in school. I think I got off easy.
Right. And to think that we're the only game in town, I think is kind of presumptuous.
That question, though, the idea that...
Okay, I'm going to skip through the Michio Kaku. Oh, we're almost done anyway. Good.
Propaganda.
Terrestrial...
Oh, shit. I didn't mean to do that.
Question, though, the idea that there is intelligent life and it's...
of people willing to form mainstream scientists.
There, okay?
To kind of catapult the propaganda.
Whenever a mainstream scientist says anything about anything, there are millions upon millions of people willing to form their belief system around the statements of that scientist. So here we are in 2016, and when you look at any online poll as to whether aliens exist or not, the belief in aliens always wins by more than half. So we have passed the tipping point for critical mass, which perfectly sets the stage for a Project Bluebeam fake alien invasion. Even though what we call outer space is not what we think it is, and we have never been to the moon or past low Earth orbit for that matter,
Nope, very incorrect.
NASA admits this on numerous occasions while you're not even paying attention.
NASA's next spacecraft, already being built and tested across America, will do those things and more.
This is the spacecraft that's going to take humans to explore the solar system. It's the next big step for NASA in exploration.
Called the Orion Multipurpose Crew Vehicle, or MPCV, this next-generation spacecraft will enable America to explore beyond low Earth orbit.
As we get further away from Earth, we'll pass through the
They're talking about the fact that we don't have any current stuff. It's not that we've never been outside of low Earth orbit. It's that after the shuttle project shut down, we didn't have any ability to go beyond low Earth orbit.
Van Allen belts, an area of danger.
The willful misinterpretation of stuff from NASA really frustrates me. Like, you have to be intentionally misreading what they are saying half the time. It's really frustrating.
Radiation. But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation. Sensors aboard will record radiation levels for scientists to study. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
The plan that NASA has is to build a rocket called SLS, which is a heavy lift rocket. It's something that is much bigger than what we have today, and it will be able to launch the Orion capsule with humans on board, as well as landers or other components to destinations beyond Earth orbit. Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go. And this new system that we're building is going to allow us to go beyond and hopefully take humans into the solar system to explore. So the moon, Mars, asteroids, there's a lot of destinations that we could go to, and we're building these building block components in order to allow us to do that eventually.
So this leads me to flat Earth, and why, if we knew the Earth is flat and enclosed by an impenetrable barrier, Project Bluebeam would not work. If we all understood the truth about where we live, most likely the belief in aliens would be very rare. But since they lied to us and would have us believe that there are billions of galaxies and billions of other planets, the belief in intelligent extraterrestrial life becomes the norm. Not only that, though, outer space and alien programming have been underway for quite some time. From a trip to the moon in 1901 to
fuck off.
In Cloverfield.
Don't do my boy Millier like that, you fuck. You flat Earth fuck. How dare you make fun of one of the greatest movies ever made.
Lame.
Sorry, that's what that's such a that's such an important foundational piece of film. It frustrates me. I'm frustrated. Don't use that, you fuck.
2016. The Tavistock Institute and Hollywood have been hard at work trying to introduce the masses to new ideas and manufacture our opinions. They've done a great job. We went from knowing that aliens don't exist to believing in aliens 100% without
At what point? What do you mean no? What do you mean no?
Shred of evidence. UFOs, on the other hand, are very real, unidentified flying objects. But all it is suppressed top secret government and military technology. They will utilize these top secret crafts to trick us into believing in an alien threat. They will also use holographic projections and something like the silent subliminal presentation system that can beam voices into our heads, which has already been patented for years now. Look it up. While you're at it, look at hologram technology that's already been used to show Michael Jackson on stage and even Tupac performing as well.
That's using, oh my god, it's the Pepper's Ghost illusion. It's just a more technologically complex version of the Pepper's Ghost. You couldn't use that to make holographic things in the sky unless you had giant panes of glass over the entire world. Oh my god, they think there's a dome. They think there's a dome. So they probably think they could project something on the dome, and it would work like a Pepper's Ghost illusion. Okay, well, fuck.
Last note, pay attention to the timing of alien programming. For instance, Hillary talking about aliens on talk shows and promising to disclose classified information about extraterrestrials when in office, and the release of Independence Day 2. The timing of these things says a lot in itself.
That you need to take your lithium or Halidol.
This has been ODD TV. Thanks for watching.
Jesus Christ. All right. So that was a fun 3 hours of flat Earth nonsense, wasn't it? Let's see who we're going to raid on Twitch. Does anyone have anyone that's live right now that they think I should raid? Anyone I haven't before that you like, that you think deserves some new viewers? Anyone? Question? Answer? let me know. I'll give it a minute or so. If not, I'll raid someone I already know. So tomorrow is Pissmas. Remember, tomorrow's Pissmas, and we are starting at 12 Eastern. So we're going to be looking at alt health urine therapy people. It's going to be a long day. Thanks, Unstable Deadbeat. And Rick M with a 90 stream streak says, glad you're feeling better. Merry Pissmas. I'm glad I'm feeling better, too. Very much so. Let me see. Did anyone say anything? Still not seeing anyone with any raid recommendations yet. Love you too, Mr. Blast. Young Skirt. Okay, let's see who that person is. Do 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 do.
And so
Are they just watching Arrested Development? All right. I'll raid into some copyright infringement. That's fine.
talk.
All right. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow for Pissmas. I understand if you're not going to make it. I understand it tomorrow.